Good evening, or early evening, I should say. I would like to go ahead and call the meeting to order at 4 p.m. and Abby will read the language under public content.
In order to help assure compliance with the Brown Act, and in order to make our board meetings more effective and more efficient, trustees will speak only when recognized, and trustees who speak on a topic other than the agenda item currently under consideration will be out of order. Board meeting protocols. The safety and decorum of the school board meetings are important to Stockton Unified School District and the community. SUSD promotes the public's right to free speech, and we want to make sure that all community members, parents, and students are able to participate in a safe environment. We want to ensure all community members have a seat during the board meeting. We will have the maximum number of chairs allowed per fire code 132. We ask that members of the public do not stand along the side of walls or block the walkway. Anyone standing up during the meeting will be asked to take a seat. If they do not comply, they will be asked to leave. Any accredited news media representative who is standing will have a press credential clearly visible. There is a podium and mic position in front of the first row of chairs. No one other than the person who is speaking may be at the podium except for a guardian, administrator, or translator. For safety, people may not line up behind the speaker to wait their turn. We want to give the person at the podium the time and respect they deserve. Each speaker will be allowed 3 minutes. Attendees are not allowed to enter the area past the podium where board members are sitting. No profanity or obscenity. During the board meeting, if there is a disruption, the board president or designee will give a verbal warning to the person or persons causing the disruption. If the disruption continues after the verbal warning, the individual will be asked to leave or be removed from the premises for the remainder of the board meeting. After the meeting is concluded, we ask the community to clear the lobby in a respectful manner. Thank you.
Thank you, Abby. Moving on to 1.2, roll call taken by Abby.
Vice President Kanita Stevens.
Present.
Clerk Sophia Colon.
Present.
Trustee Donald Donaire.
Present.
Trustee Cecilia Mendez.
Present.
Trustee Alicia Rico.
Present.
Trustee Raymond Zulueta. Trustee Zulueta appears to be absent. President Angel Ann Flores.
Present.
Student Rep Victoria Heron.
Present.
She said present.
Yeah, sorry, present.
Thank you. And back to you, President Flores.
Thank you. And at this time, I would like to take a moment of silence for Miss Donna Losciavo, our bus attendant for the transportation department, and also for Miss Julie O'Neill, who is a standard permit preschool teacher for the early childhood education department. We can go ahead and now take a moment of silence. Thank you. We'll now move on to 1.3, our student board representative report by Miss Veronica Heron of Franklin High School. Welcome.
Hi. Can everyone hear me? Can you guys hear me?
Can you, is that mic?
Is it on? Can you guys hear me? Am I not speaking on? There you go. Okay. I'd first like to say it's Victoria. Sorry.
Victoria.
My name is Victoria.
Oh, okay.
And we have board celebrations from both the schools of Franklin and Stagg. From Franklin, we had our first PBIS assembly celebrating student behavior and perfect attendance. They won our first football game. We had an avid student that was previously looking at just graduating high school, who has now decided to go to college, and he'll be the first to graduate high school in his family. There was a good turnout for our parent view training. Franklin is celebrating Hispanic Heritage Month with the Spirit Week, and girls volleyball has placed in 2 tournaments, and we have over a dozen teachers attending AVID collaboration days on a weekly basis after school. For STAG, this Thursday, September 13th, will be the groundbreaking ceremony for construction of the new barn at 10 a.m. STAG students, in partnership with the University of the Pacific, will attend the Construction Trades Fair on September 15th. 100 students will be taking a trip to Delta College for a campus tour and information of the various programs offered to students. 41 newcomer students have taken the initial LPAC exam. STAG will be sending the graphic design students to the Skills USA conferences, and STAG hosted a very successful Alumni and Football Hall of Fame induction ceremony on Friday, September 1st. That's all the celebrations.
Thank you. And we invite you, Victoria, when we go into closed session for about the first 5-10 minutes or so. To just kind of introduce yourself to the board and have a bite to eat with us. And then we will very nicely say, okay, time to go. Because we have business to do, okay? Okay, but we thank you for being here. Okay, moving on to item 1.4, our student honoree. And I would like to bring up Mr. Ty Pafford, principal, to the podium and mic to introduce Miss Michaela Lynn, our student for SECA.
Hello. My name is Ty Pafford. I'm the principal at Stockton Early College Academy, or SECA, as most of you know it. And we are privileged to be here tonight and delighted that you all invited us, and would like to thank the board, Superintendent Rodriguez, cabinet and support staff for hosting us. And this is such a pleasure for me to introduce Miss Michaela Lynn. She is our current student body president. She has also served in ASB in leadership for all 4 years, is an incredible accountant, the best we've ever had, and has really done some amazing things to support our school and all the events that ASB is able to put on. But Michaela herself is quite an accomplished student individual. If we go back to 7th grade at Rio Calaveras, she was the top scoring student in the nation for her pentathlon team. So that's pretty amazing. And I like to brag on her, but she doesn't like me to brag so much. But she is on track to graduate from SECA with her AA completed with all 60 units. She has taken every AP course we honor and has passed several. Her dream, I think at this point, and sometimes they change, but what I got out of her right now is she's really thinking that she would like to attend Berkeley, where she would be a data science and finance major. So without further introduction or ado, I would like to introduce Miss Michaela Lynn.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Michaela Lynn. I am a senior and the student body president at Stockton Early College Academy. I would like to begin by thanking our current governing officials and the Stockton administration for providing the opportunity to share with you all the amazing things happening on our campus. With our fall semester in full swing, we are well into the many pre-AP and AP classes alongside 1 to 4 college courses offered to all of our students. Through our carefully planned academic schedules by our counselors, a majority of our seniors are on track to graduate with an associate's degree from San Joaquin Delta College and SECA at the same time. 100% of our seniors graduate from SECA each year, and over 90% of our seniors are accepted to 4-year colleges of their choice at all levels, from California state schools to UCs to Ivy Leagues and even out-of-state institutions. Aside from our academic accomplishments, our students have 13 extracurricular clubs that fill our calendar with fun events to enjoy. Our leadership team hosts over 20 school-wide events, such as Club Rush, an annual multicultural fair, Kindness Week, and so much more. Our Friday Night Live Club just put on game night this past Friday and has taken their mental health committee projects statewide. We also have college visits, movie nights, and sports tournaments to support the growth and wellness of our students. This year, our leadership class is excited to welcome a beautification committee led by Lorena Sanchez. Its mission is to bring beauty to our campus and beyond through not only art, but kindness. We are looking forward to hosting more clothing drives, rock painting sessions, and planting trees in our Timberwolf garden. This could not be possible without the success of our student store, where our fundraising committee diligently uses business principles to raise funds that go directly back to our students and community. With that, we are looking forward to seeing milestones such as a glow-in-the-dark dance this Friday, a fall spirit week and rally, SATs, a haunted house, college applications, and so much more. Again, thank you so much for the invitation and opportunity to speak on behalf of my school and share with you the many wonderful and interconnected elements that help keep our organization strong.
Michaela, is your family here with you? Okay, if you would like to come up to the podium, to take a picture with your area trustee representative, trustee Donald Denaire. And I would just like to comment that you gave an exceptional update and you covered check on all aspects. And that is exactly what a team leader speech gives. And so you included everybody in all programs, and that was super exciting to see here. Moving on to item 1.5, oral suggestions regarding open session agenda items in section 1 and closed session. And Christina will announce the number of public comments and request each person to provide their public comment in the order they were received, and Yvette will be the timekeeper. Do we have any public comments?
Individual speakers shall be allowed 3 minutes to address the board. The board shall limit the total time for public input on each item to 20 minutes. Madam President, we currently do not have any public comments at this time.
Thank you. Moving on to item 1.6, public employee discipline dismissal release. And that's only if we have any employees requesting to hear the complaints of charges in open session. Yay, we are moving pretty speedy today. Item 1.7, the board will consider in closed session items listed in closed session by Vice President Kenita Stevens.
Thank you so much, President Flores. Can you guys hear me? My voice is I'm not feeling well, so my voice is a little low. In closed session, we will consider item 2.1A, public employee appointment, certificated resignation, retirement, and appointment. 2.2A, public employee appointment, classified, leave of absence, resignation, retirement, rescind employment offer, decease, and appointment. 2.3A, public employee discipline, dismissal, and release. 2.4A, conference of legal counsel, existing litigation, subsection D-1 of Government Code section of Government Code subsection of Government Code section, I think this kind of said the same thing, section 54956.9 D1, case Jose R. Medina Gutierrez versus Stockton Unified et al., case number 607162. In case number 2022-07, 17615117, Everetto Ramirez versus Stockton Unified, California Civil Rights Department. 2.5A, conference with legal counsel, anticipated litigation, significant exposure to litigation under subsections D-2 and E-3 of Government Code section 54956.9. Case claim by A. Frugo, claim by Keenan, 2.6A, conference with legal counsel, anticipated litigation, significant exposure to litigation under Government Code Section 54956, sub D-29, one case. 2.7D, student expulsion, A-1. Back to you, Madam President.
Thank you. And we will now go ahead and close for recess for closed session at 4:15. Good evening, everyone. Thank you for joining us today. We would like to go ahead and call our meeting back into public session at 5:34. And Abby will read the language under public content.
In order to help assure compliance with the Brown Act, in order to make our board meetings more effective and more efficient, trustees will speak only when recognized, and trustees who speak on a topic other than the agenda item currently under consideration will be out of order. Board meeting protocols. The safety and decorum of the school board meetings are important to Stockton Unified School District and the community. SUSD promotes the public's right to free speech, and we want to make sure that all community members, parents, and students are able to participate in a safe environment. We want to ensure all community members have a seat during the board meeting. We will have the maximum number of chairs allowed per fire code 132. We ask that members of the public do not stand along the side of walls or block the walkway. Anyone standing up during the meeting will be asked to take a seat. If they do not comply, they will be asked to leave. Any accredited news media representative who is standing will have a press credential clearly visible. There is a podium and mic position in front of the first row of chairs. No one other than the person who is speaking may be at the podium except for a guardian, administrator, or translator. For safety, people may not line up behind the speaker to wait their turn. We want to give the person at the podium the time and respect they deserve. Each speaker will be allowed 3 minutes. Attendees are not allowed to enter the area past the podium where board members are sitting. No profanity or obscenity. During the board meeting, if there is a disruption, the board president or designee will give a verbal warning to the person or persons causing the disruption. If the disruption continues after the verbal warning, the individual will be asked to leave or be removed from the premises for the remainder of the board meeting. After the meeting is concluded, we ask the community to clear the lobby in a respectful manner. Thank you, and back to you, President Flores.
Thank you, Abby. We will now go ahead and move on to item 4.1. Actually, 4.1, Pledge of Allegiance, if we can all rise. Ready? Begin. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. We'll now go ahead and move on to item 4.2, action taken in closed session by Vice President Kenita Stevens.
Thank you, Trustee Trustee President Flores. In closed session, the board considered item 2.1, public employee appointment certificated resignation, retirement, and appointment. Board motion to approve the item. Motion carried 6-0 with one being absent, that trustee being Trustee Zulueta. Board motion to approve item number 2.2. Motion carried 5-1 with one absent. Yes votes coming from Trustee Colon, Denaire, Mendez, Rico, and Stevens. One no vote being Trustee Flores, and one absent being Trustee Zulueta. Board motion to approve the termination of one noon duty assistant. Motion carried 6-0 with one absent, that absent trustee being Trustee Zulueta. Item 2.4, no reportable action. Case number 20220717615117, Everetto Ramirez versus Stockton Unified California Civil Rights Department. Board motion to ratify the settlement agreement for the case for $2,000. Motion carried 6-0 with one being absent. That absent vote being trustee Zulueta. Item 2.5, case number 1, board motion to reject the claim by A. Fuco. Motion carried 6-0 with one being absent. That trustee being absent is trustee Zulueta. Case number 2, board motion to approve claim by Keenan. Motion carried 6-0 with one absent. That absent vote being trustee Zulueta. Item 6.2, no reportable action. And those are all the cases taken in closed session. 2.6. 2.6. Yeah. Back to you, Madam President.
Moving on now to item 4.3, the order of agenda, and Christina will read the oral announcement.
This is the opportunity for the Board of Trustees to make any changes to the order of the agenda. Otherwise, the order of the agenda will be as published. Thank you.
Okay, this is an opportunity for any board members to make any changes. Are there any colleagues on the board who would like to make any changes at this time? I see none. Can I get a motion to approve the order of agenda?
Motion to approve the order of the agenda by Stevens.
Second, Cecilia Mendez.
Roll call vote.
Student Rep Heron.
Absent.
Thank you. Vice President Stevens.
Yes.
Clerk Colon.
Yes.
Trustee Donaire.
Yes.
Trustee Mendez.
Yes.
Trustee Rico.
Yes.
Trustee Zulueta.
Yes.
President Flores.
Yes.
Motion passes unanimously. Thank you.
Moving on to item 5.1, oral suggestions regarding open session, and Christina will read will announce the number of public comments and request each person to provide their public comment in the order they were received, and Yvette will be the timekeeper.
Individual speakers shall be allowed 3 minutes to address the board. The board shall limit the total time for public input on each item to 20 minutes. Madam President, we currently have 16 public comment cards. The first comment is going to be from Destiny and Layla regarding item 12.5. Miss Destiny and Layla, would you mind coming up to the podium, please?
Good evening. My name is Kelly Leonard. I'm one of the district avid coaches.
My name is Lindsay Kent and I'm one of the district avid coaches as well.
So we have an opportunity to hear a chant from Layla and Destiny, I believe 3rd and 4th grade. They participate, they're from August Elementary, and every Friday they have a celebration first thing in the morning, and everybody at the site participates in these chants. You guys ready?
I don't know, but I've been told. Avid makes me strong and bold. Take my notes and do my best. Take my notes and do my best. Study them for every test. Study them for every test. Avid. Career. Avid. College. Check my work when it's done. Check my work when it's done. Then I'll go and have some fun. Then I'll go and have some fun. Do I like you right to learn? Do I like you right to learn? The more I write, the more I learn. The more I write, the more I learn. Avid. Career. Avid. College.
Very good job, Destiny and Layla. Those names kind of have a little ring to it too. Duo over there.
The next public comment is from Dr. Christopher Anderson regarding item 8.1.
Trustees, colleagues, here we go again. One more charter school lined up, one more charter school to knock down. I'm getting kind of tired of coming up here and doing this over and over again. I feel like I need a little box with a recording. This charter school is particularly silly because it's definitely a duplication of all of the things we've already been doing with our CTE program with engineering. And I really hope that we're not going to allow this school to open up in our district, because it's going to undermine the work that Mr. Haley and the other folks in that department are working hard to do, which is to extend our CTE, to build a robust engineering program. And all this is going to do is start pulling away students, pulling away resources, pulling away attention, and we don't need it. So I'm not going to waste a lot of your time. I just really hope that we're paying attention and that we're not supporting another charter school coming in here. No more charters, no more charters, no more charters. Thank you.
The next public comment is from Ms. Sylvia Cantu regarding item 11.3.
Hello, I'm speaking on support of agenda item 11.3, the approval to purchase ICU technology video intercom solution. One of the key components is safety. And if you look at the LCAP, for 23-24 desired outcome, you want 87% and parents 65% and teachers and staff 63%. That is the goal for the desired outcome. If you look at the 6C, percentage of students, parents, and teachers, which is staff, who feel safe, who feel the school is safe. The baseline in 2021, you had 82.67 students feeling safe. You had 60% of parents feeling safe, and you had 58% teachers feel safe. Last year, you went from parents, it went from 60% down to 39%. And for staff, you went from 58% feeling safe to 32%. And don't forget, the goal is to be at 63%. So it looks like it's down. So that's what I'm saying. It's part of the LCAP. And I do know that that's a lot of concerns when I visit schools are teacher safety. So I think this is one of the things that can do that. So thank you.
Ms. Cantu, we're going to go ahead and have you stay up here for the next few cards.
All my cards?
Just a few.
Okay, just tell me which one.
Okay, so the next item is regarding 13.5.
Okay, 13.5. Okay, 13.5, this is regarding the title change of coordinator of music education. And its funding source is the LCAP. But if you look at the LCAP, I know the LCAP is being revised, agenda item 12.2, but it doesn't really tell you what's being revised. But if you look at the current LCAP that you're going to approve tonight, it still has the word music coordinator under there. And it has art resource teacher and TK 8th grade music teacher. So my question is, how are you changing the job title, but yet in LCAP, it still has music coordinator, so you're not changing it. So my question is, are you going to bring back the LCAP again? So if this does get voted, that you do it? Because like I said, I'm not in disagreement with the title change. I'm just saying in the LCAP itself that was already approved, you have the word music coordinator under there. And yet you're asking tonight to change the job title. So it's not matching what you already have. So that was just my only statement. And I'm glad we're having this person, because their job is to recruit and retain high quality individuals in this position. I've been asking for an art teacher, still not being advertised. So maybe when we hire this person, they can start advertising and recruiting, because I don't understand if it's part of board policy to have an art teacher, it's in the LCAP to have an art teacher. And you can have millions of dollars. You can have like the propositions, you can have that. But what good is the money if you're not attracting or getting those teachers to come to SUSD for art? They're probably getting jobs elsewhere. So my thing is, I'm just worried about that it's not matching the LCAP. That's it. Thank you.
And the next item is regarding 14.1.
Okay, for 14.1. It is talking about Measure C and Measure E. I'm glad that it talks about that this committee will review expenditures, because one of the concerns that I do have, and I've been bringing this up, and I've never had people answer my question, but I like that it's going to receive and review copies of the district's annual independent performance audit and annual independent financial audit required by the article. I also like that it's going to review copies of the deferred maintenance proposal or plans developed by the district. Because the one I just gave you, you can see that you're using Measure E funds, and it's about 56,964,000. And if you look behind, no one prepared this agenda item. It doesn't even have that. But if you look behind it, you'll see someone that had no approval to go ahead and sign a contract. So at least with this committee, they're going to look at all the Measure E money, because it was also doing ESSER, that how do you get someone to authorize a contract? It says revised contract fee when they have no authority. So at least with this committee, they're going to look back at all the Measure C and E and how all this has been allowed. And you can see it was from December 2022 and all that. So I did highlight in the back. So that is my, kind of happy, because I think we do need to audit way back then, because this has been happening since September, about November 2022 and everything else. So I know there's more contracts than that. It's about like this thick. I already have given that to the county we ahead of time, because I kept coming to the board, kept asking the board, how can someone in that job who does not have that job that this board approved, that's not even in the resolution to sign contracts, have the authority? And no answer. So that's why I gave you that. So you know what I'm talking about. I don't make up stuff. I just have questions. That's it. So thank you.
Next item is regarding 13.3 and 12.2.
And 12 point what?
13.3
Uh-huh.
and 12.2.
I think I have 12.5. Is that right too? Okay, this is 13.3. The equity, diversity, family engagement, also part of the revised LCAP agenda. 12.2, my card. On the LCAP itself, once again, you asked for additional supplemental educational equity, diversity, and inclusion. On here, on the LCAP, page 87, it still has educational equity director and office assistant. So the same question regarding the music coordinator. It's not matching. The LCAP is not matching. That's one of the reasons I've been asking for an LCAP coordinator, an LCAP director, someone. So that way when they can take a look at it. So once again, if you're going to approve this tonight, you're going to have to go back and change it in the LCAP, because it still says educational equity director and office assistant. It's not on there. I also like this position because it's supposed to support the equity and social justice within the district and surrounding community. And it does initial review and evaluation of existing resources and programs established to support underserved students and families. I know there's more schools that don't have art or music. So not only will it help my school, but it'll help other schools. And this is what we're talking about. You can't say, oh, we want equity when you're not really practicing that elsewhere. So I'm done with that one. And then my other one, 12.5, that's on AVID. AVID is designed to engage students, build high-level thinking skills, close the opportunity gap by making learning accessible to all students, by preparing them for college, career, and life. And guess what? Part of our SUSD mission statement is to graduate every student college, career, and community ready. So that's part of AVID. AVID does deal with WICR, which stands for, the W stands for writing, the I for inquiry, the C for collaboration, the O for organization, and the R is reading. And you've seen those two lovely ladies that came, the young ladies that came up here, Layla and Destiny. And that just tells you how it shows people how to speak in front of people. Because I remember when I first came out here, I was shaking. So that's why I do believe in AVID strategies. And when we did AVID, we did it like it says for college and career ready. We did reading buddies, and we went, my sixth grade class went with the first grade, and we went to Delta so they can take a look at the college experience. And some of my students were like, wow, I didn't know it was out here. And most of them were just excited to do that. So this does benefit our students. And like I said, it is part of our SUSD mission statement. So thank you.
Next item is 13.4.
Okay, 13.4. It is the approval of the reorganization of the business service department. If you will look on today's agendas from 14.7 to 14.9, it does not tell you, most of them, or does not say who prepares them or whatever. But I do want to say this. It does say, but it's not here. The one thing I like about the job description, it says that the new CBO, but it's going to be called their new position, Associate Superintendent Business Operation, will prepare board items. I believe that this is the first year I've ever seen where the CBO does not even put their name. If you look at the agenda that I just gave you from 2022, doesn't even have anybody prepared. It's reviewed, but who prepares it? I think that when a CBO prepares an agenda, it tells the community, hey, this is coming from me. This is what I'm trying to say, that we can financially do this, or financially we cannot do it. But that's why I like the language on there about that. I'm surprised that they only need a bachelor's degree, no master's degree. So it seems to me we're not really looking for high caliber people. I don't know if you're trying to make this position for someone already in mind. I don't know. But to have a bachelor's degree, and maybe you can have a certificate. I mean, we're coming out of a hole. We're almost taking over. You need someone that has high caliber. So that's the only thing I look at, the education experience. When you look at that, I just feel that it has to be someone, like I said, with high caliber, because like I said, this is the person, especially since we don't have an LCAP, is that you're relying on the budget and only that one person. Usually you can look at the LCAP person and they can get together. But when you're only relying on one person, you really, really have to have a high person, because most of these cabinet members, I know they have to have a master's degree. So why wouldn't this new position need a master's degree? That's it. Thank you.
Next item, 13.5.
Okay, 13.5. Did I already talk about this? I think I talked about this with the music coordinator. Yeah, I did. I think that's it, right? Yeah. I thank you for your time.
The next public comment is from Ms. Gina Hall regarding item 12.5.
Well, I can't follow that avid chant either, but good evening, board members, board president, Ms. Flores, vice president, Ms. Stevens, and Dr. Rodriguez. I am here to speak in support of continuing AVID for our staff and students in SUSD. As you may be aware, USA has worked with directors and Assistant Superintendent Ramirez to strive to provide positive support for our schools. And more recently, USA has been meeting with Assistant Superintendent Klappenbach on the same items. Let's see. So AVID has been a beacon for our students who have previously been of the opinion that they do not have the right to dream of college. AVID can provide the ways to accomplish this dream, but they do not stop there. They provide teachers and administrators with professional development on best teaching practices and strategies. Our site team members have grown into true instructional leadership teams based on this PD. AVID and PLCs are married in their goals and aspirations to provide students with the best first instruction. Keeping AVID funded is vital for both teacher growth and student growth. And as we know, one affects the other, and AVID is a solid program to affect change. Thank you.
The next public comment is from Ms. Louise Barros regarding item 13.2, 13.3, and 13.4.
Good evening, trustees. My name is Louise Barros. I'm a labor relations representative for CSEA, the union representing classified employees. I'm here to bring attention to these items because the board should know that Human Resources told CSEA 821 members that for 22-23 school year, the district couldn't go through the contractual reclassification process outlined in the CBA because there wasn't enough money in the budget, and the district couldn't cobble together a reclass committee to handle the reclassifications. 821 filed a grievance, and it's at the level 2 stage right now because the district refused to follow the reclass process. But now we're seeing that management's getting reclassed and getting these new positions left and right. You're shelling out over $300,000 on new positions, yet classified rank and file are told that there's not enough money for us and that's too expensive and too cumbersome to reclassify. It's just another example about how the district gives management what it asks for, whatever it asks for. Yeah, when classified needs something, we're told it's too expensive. When reclassifications for classified staff would have cost like a quarter of this, the fiscal impact would never exceed $350,000. So again, all of a sudden, there's all this money for managers and reclassification and reorganization for them, but classified are told, sorry, there's just no money for you. It's becoming apparent that the district would rather create positions like for specific people rather than for district need and operational need, what it's in the best interest of students. So I really want to ask, like, what's the real need here? Does the district really need to have more managers? Is this really what's best for the students in the community? How does reclassing and creating more management positions support the district's operational needs and its goals? And how does violating 821's contract support the district's goal of labor peace? Please consider these questions and ask your own before approving this agenda items. Thank you.
Next public comment is from Mr. Harpreet Shima regarding item 14.1.
Okay, this is from my colleague who couldn't be here. Why is this a resolution to establish the CBOCs for 2014 Measure E and 2018 Measure C? Shouldn't this be a resolution to appoint specific members of the public to those specific committees? The Board of Education already approved resolutions on February 22nd, 2022 that established CBOC's bylaws for 2014 Measure E and 2018 Measure C, which would seem to make this one redundant. And if you look beyond the title of the resolution, you'll see that the actual language states only that, quote, the board now wishes to establish a citizen oversight committee with respect to the district's education of 2014 general obligation bonds, end quote. There's nothing in that text about 2018. Can you please provide the date, agenda item, and resolution number under which the 2022 Measure C CBOC was established? The agenda item details state that, quote, the agenda or the already established bond oversight committee for Measure C 2022 would oversee all three of the remaining bond measures, end quote. But I don't believe a resolution to establish a 2022 Measure C CBOC was ever brought to the board, and there doesn't seem to be evidence of it on board docs. The appointments to a CBOC require board approval in open session at a board meeting, because I also cannot find any evidence of a resolution that appointed any members of the public to a 2022 Measure C CBOC. Despite that, 2 meetings have already occurred and held. On July 19th, 2023 meeting, there was a discussion on bringing forth a resolution to the board that would have the same members serve on the committees for 2018 Measure C and 2014 Measure E, because no bonds had been issued out of the 2022 Measure C, and therefore there was nothing for those committee members to actually do. The resolution that the board will be voting on tonight doesn't appear to accomplish that. The district pays Dale Scott and Company an annual fee of $20,000 plus expenses to assist with the formation, implementation, and management of these required committees. It's a shame that you're spending that money and yet you still don't have functioning oversight committees for all of your bonds. Bonds like Measure E that you continue to expend money from for pet projects like View, where the district pays over $250,000 per year to be that company's guinea pig, since they're going to be doing a case study on us. The County Office of Education already called SUSD out on this and their lack of going concern letter, a designation which has yet to be lifted. And at this rate, it doesn't seem like it ever will be.
Mr. Shima, your next public comment card is regarding item 13.4.
Okay. Yeah, in this agenda item, it says, quote, in collaboration with School Services of California, we are updating the CBO job description to Associate Superintendent of Business and Operations to recruit candidates, et cetera, et cetera. The salary range will remain the same. The key thing here says updating, but this is not an update or an upgrade to the CBO position. The Associate Superintendent of Business and Operations has lower qualifications across the board, as it was brought up, requires a lower level of education, which, to be fair, higher ed is kind of a mess these days. But the CBO position also requires a minimum of 5 years of school district experience in a district with enrollment of 10,000 students. The new position does not. The new position doesn't even require a chief business official certification. I get it. You're having trouble finding someone qualified for this position to come to SUSD. Because as much as we dress up the district with joy, trust, and belief signs all over the place, people don't start trusting and believing in the district just because of fancy graphics. Our new leadership ran on cleaning up the district, and yet they seem uninterested in holding anyone accountable. Whereas Ron Frida's our district attorney. I can't imagine he's able to thoroughly investigate any wrongdoings without the district's help. What about Armando Orozco and his demands for $800K and now the now flooded shipping containers? What about the parking lot scandal? If we don't clean up the district, how will you attract people that actually know what they're doing? But there also seems to be a second reason for downgrading this position. Our interim CBO doesn't actually qualify for the CBO position. It seems like she does qualify for the associate superintendent of DO spot. And a superintendent seems easier to implement your agenda if you're not up against a CBO that may not align with you ideologically. And we know our current interim CBO will align herself with whatever leadership is in power at the time. It's fealty over competency. But more importantly, if you approve this, I don't think it's unjust to say that you're letting us all down. And by you, I mean the trustees. We keep hearing about past financial mismanagement and missing funds and the patchwork system that we used to have. The idea of hiring someone even less qualified than their predecessors to fix those issues is absurd. As the board, the responsibility ultimately lies with you. If SUSD continues on our downward trend, the responsibility will be laid at your feet, and we'll make sure of it when you inevitably run for a higher position from this seat. Thank you.
The next public comment is from Mr. Jerry Gonzalez regarding item 11.3.
Good evening, Jerry Gonzalez, SUSD alumni. Just wanted to talk about the proposed video security system that you're going to be voting on today. I didn't see in the agenda or any of the paperwork here where it went through the RFP process. So just wanted to make sure that that occurred. And then I was wondering if maybe the district considered having them install the system at one campus so you guys could test it out to make sure it's really what you want. Because as you know, the district spent a significant amount of money on air purifier systems that turned out to be a disaster. So just a suggestion. Let's see. The other item is, this is for a little over $2 million going through ESSER funds. What happens going forward? Does this contract include updates to software and ongoing expenditures, or is this going to be another $2 million next year that ESSER funds will not be able to fund? So just wanted to ask those questions. Thank you.
Mr. Gonzalez, your next comment card is regarding item 14.1.
Okay. So this is regarding the Citizens Bond Oversight Committee measure C and E. Just full disclosure, I am part of the current CBOC Citizens Bond Oversight Committee. However, I'm speaking as an individual and not on behalf of the Citizens Bond Oversight Committee. I am in favor. Actually, I was one of the individuals who asked why we are on this one measure that just passed, yet there have been expenditures in the past that nobody's been looking at. So just wanted to mention that. What I would like to ask is that the board leadership provide direction to the superintendent, to the staff, and to the bond consultants to provide all records and information from past expenditures, not just, that were not reviewed by any previous oversight committees, because there, from my understanding, have been several years where there has not been a committee, and I don't know what the expenditures have been or who's been minding it. So thank you.
Madam President, we have 4 more cards that are addressing item 8.1 for the public hearing. So this concludes the public comments.
Thank you, Chris.
We just received an additional comment.
Okay. We'll real quick.
Okay, this is from Adriana Cruces, item 12.1.
Good evening. My name is Adriana Cruces. I am an 18-year educator, 8 years with Stockton Unified School District. I'm proud to be an ESL success story from the district, and I'm kind of seeing this on the agenda. I've been also emailing our superintendent. What are we doing for the Hispanic Heritage Month? What are the activities? Because I continue to see it year after year after year of the adoption, but there's no activities as we have when it's Black History Month. I did request that an activity be honored where there is on September 15th, the release of astronaut Jose Hernandez movie, and how can we bus kids to Franklin High School so that every student is exposed to the Hispanic culture. There is so much to give in this community for activities that I would like to have the board really look into lining up activities for this entire month, not just one activity this year. So I want to just put it out there. We need activities to actually support this. We also have in our community Dolores Huerta Foundation, which provides free lesson planning on their websites to also be part of this program. We have the Mexican Heritage Center in this city that also provides access to arts projects for support of the school district. So there's plenty of resources that can be brought to the district in support of this month. Thank you.
Madam President, this concludes public comment.
Thank you, Christina. Moving on to 5.2, oral suggestions and comments from the community regarding non-agenda items. And Christina will announce a number of public comments and request each person to provide a public comment in the order they were received.
Individual speakers shall be allowed 3 minutes to address the board. The board shall limit the total time for public input on each item to 20 minutes. Madam President, we currently have 3 comment cards for non-agenda items. The first card is going to be from Ms. Sylvia Cantu. Ms. Cantu, would you please approach the podium?
Hi, as most of you know, I teach at George Washington School, a 6th grade teacher. I have a question. My principal emailed me, and this is coming from the district, that the district is asking that the schools, they're to inventory all the Chrome carts in the classroom, inventory and remove all the broken, and they become e-waste Chromebooks from current inventory. Inventory every student Chromebook that has been checked out. But here's the problem that I have. If the student doesn't have it by when they do a checkout, they're going to be fined $280. Now, remember, these Chromebooks were passed to the kids during distance learning in the year 2021. Some of these Chromebooks were paid out of SUSD bond measure E-Tech 2014 or from the LCAP. My question is, who's getting the money? I mean, last year it was $100. I made sure none of my kids paid because I don't think that's right. We've had kids that have been homeless, that have been moving, that we have from other schools. So my current 6th graders were 3rd graders, and they used and they were using the Chromebooks from the old cart. So I don't understand why we're having students pay for, if they're broken, they're e-waste, but if they're not broken, they're considered lost. Why is the district charging money? And who's getting the money? I mean, you can't say, oh, the parents don't have to pay or whatever. But yes, they did sign a thing, but it never said like the amount of money. How did it go from 100 to 280? I mean, hello. So my only concern is if it's outdated, the computers, and they're already e-wasted, how are we charging 280 for computers that even though we gave it to them in 2020 and 21, they're older than that. I had the card, especially mine, because my current 6th graders now are freshmen, but they turn them into 8th graders. But I had that cart for 2 years. So you're talking about Chromebooks that were from 2018, and we're going to charge them 280. So I'm just wondering, why we're charging, and if we are charging, who's getting the money? I mean, hello, thank you.
The next public comment is from Mr. Harpreet Shima.
Hello again. Yeah, this is the same thing on the $280 fine if students lose or have to replace their Chromebooks. At the budget committee meeting, I believe the superintendent said that you were going to use bond money to either buy or upgrade the Chromebooks. So then what's the point of fines if the laptops are going to be replaced soon anyways? We have increased childhood poverty across the country. The idea that we're now going to fine Stockton families nearly $300 for what is an obsolete piece of hardware is just silly. And then meanwhile, we have a reorg on the admin side that seems like it's going to cost over $250,000. We never seem to have issues hiring on that side of the building, maybe because you need more and more staff to hold back the criticism. At a recent staff gathering, some teachers said that they're not getting support in the classroom that they've been promised for years. And what was Michelle's response? That she could not promise the teacher more support. That's pretty pathetic and sad if you ask me. Instead, she pointed to another administrator who ended up not even responding to the reporter's questions. It's like living in Barbie land with Michelle's face on every inch of the website, all over the news, on banners. How much did that banner cost, by the way? Like over 280? You know, we could have saved a fine. Meanwhile, the real issues and crimes that occurred prior to her being here are being swept under the rug. There's more talk than substance. Are we addressing what really matters most? Conditions inside the classroom. Why staff are leaving isn't really a mystery. It's their working conditions. It's having one adult in a room full of 30 kids. Do parents know that while their kid may have an IEP on paper, there's no way for a lone teacher to properly follow through with it when there's 8, 9, 10 students with them in a single classroom and they're the only adult in the classroom? I hope these are the questions that our board, who again ultimately is responsible for what happens in the district, tries to answer instead of nickel and diming students for Chromebooks. Thank you.
Mr. Shima, would you like to speak on your final card?
Thank you. Okay, in previous committee meetings, we have requested all board members include their monthly credit card expenses on the agenda, kind of like the warrant reports. We would like to express our gratitude for Trustee Flores for making her credit card expenses public, in addition to the expenses of Trustee Rico, Mendez, and Zulueta. We urge the newly elected reform candidates to adhere to their campaign promises of transparency and to also disclose their credit card expenses on a rolling monthly basis. We're trying not to apply different standards for transparency based on which, quote unquote, side the elected officials are on. Also, I just want to point out the numbers that were reported in the Stockton record, that Trustee Mendez racked up the highest total of 11,747 expenses, which exceed the district's yearly spending limit. She spent, there were nearly 84 transactions at a single location. Maybe I should open a lemonade stand and you can do district business there. That would be great. We also had previously asked the district to establish a standardized form for anyone with a district credit card to use and fill out and explain their credit card use. At a budget committee meeting on September 5th, we were told it would be set up in about a month. We hope it gets done by next month. And also we previously made a PRA request for the original receipts alongside the trustee credit card spending. And although we received bank statements, we never received the actual receipts. We're going to put in another request for those receipts, and we hope the district is able to include details of the spending, copies of the receipts, as well as information that allows us to confirm that district business was actually being conducted at those locations. Thank you.
Madam President, this concludes public comment for non-agenda items.
Thank you. Moving on to item 6.1. Can I get a motion to approve the consent items? And Christina will read the oral announcement.
Does any trustee have any items they would like to remove for separate consideration as an action item? After any items are removed for separate consideration, there will be a vote on the consent items without any discussion. Thank you.
Madam President, I'd like to move 6.48 and 6.49 from the consent agenda to the action agenda.
Say them again.
6.48 and 6.49.
6.4. Oh, 48 and 49. Um. Yeah, would you like to speak to that? Okay.
I second that.
Okay, so we got a motion to you want to pull it for action or discussion? Okay, so we'd like to motion to pull 6.48 and 6.49. And can I get for action, and can I get a motion to approve?
I already motioned.
Okay, so up for discussion? And Dr. Rodriguez, can you speak to that?
So both items, we worked with CSEA 885 in order to be able to have an MOU with them. So we actually have an MOU for both of these, which they ratified this past Monday, I guess, at noon. So in both cases, we have students who are in wheelchairs or in specific mobility devices that cannot fit on our current buses. And so because of that, these students have been and will continue to receive services through these two organizations. And so in transparency with CSEA 885, we went through an MOU process this time. And so they are in agreement that they cannot provide services for these students because of the width or the weight of their wheelchairs.
Is there a reason why we just didn't do a RFP process so that we could build a vendor pool?
Do you want to speak to the RFP process?
And I just want to add, this is something that I asked for like over a year ago with regard to all transportation. So it's not anything personal, but I'm just, we're continuing to sign new contracts for transportation, but it seems like we've had the time to bring in a vendor pool.
So that is something that I'll be working with Katie to do for additional services, but they've done this every year. It's something because it's special because they can't fit on the wheelchair, so they wouldn't gone through our RFP process. It's something that we have to do to get our students to school.
Thank you.
Just to note, it is under the RFP limit, but we understand your point.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Okay, moving on to 6.49. Roll call. Oh, can I get a roll call vote for 6.48?
President Flores, I'm going to take a roll call vote for item 6.1, okay?
Yes, that's what I was getting confused on.
Vice President Stevens?
Yes.
Clerk Colon?
Yes.
Trustee Donaire?
Yes.
Trustee Mendez?
Yes.
Trustee Rico?
Yes.
Trustee Zulueta?
Yes.
President Flores?
Yes.
Motion passes unanimously. Thank you.
Now we do a motion to approve for 6.48. Can I get a motion? Ray, do we want to stick with the same? You motioned, Rico seconded. So, hey, can I get a motion to approve?
I'll motion to approve.
Can I get a second?
Second Stevens?
Roll call vote, please.
Vice President Stevens?
Yes.
Clerk Colon?
Yes.
Trustee Donaire?
Yes.
Trustee Mendez?
Yes.
Trustee Rico?
Yeah.
Trustee Zulueta?
Yes.
President Flores?
Yes.
Motion passes unanimously. Thank you.
Now we'll motion to approve for 6.49.
I'll motion as well.
Can I get a second?
Second Stevens?
Any discussion? Is this the same concerns for the special needs?
Yeah.
Okay. Roll call vote.
Vice President Stevens?
Yes.
Clerk Colon?
Yes.
Trustee Donaire?
Yes.
Trustee Mendez?
Yes.
Trustee Rico?
Yes.
Trustee Zulueta?
Yes.
President Flores?
Yes.
Motion passes unanimously. Thank you.
Moving on to item 8.1, whereas a public hearing for Endeavor Engineering Academy charter petition And we will now convene to a public hearing on the Endeavor Engineering Academy Charter petition. The Board of Trustees is required to hold a public hearing before taking action to grant or deny the petition. As part of the public hearing, the board will consider the admissions preferences included in the petition. District staff and the petitioners will be given equal time and procedures to address the proposed findings and recommendations detailed in the staff report that was posted on the district's website 15 days prior to this public hearing. The district's review team and the petitioners will each receive 10 minutes to address the board and present or respond to any information concerning the proposed findings and recommendation. Following the presentation or statements to the board, we will receive comments from members of the public. Then the board will have the opportunity to ask questions of the district review team, legal counsel, or the petitioners, and then we'll deliberate and take action to approve or deny the petition. Mr. Klappenbach, I understand you will be providing a report of the staff's proposed findings of fact and recommendation on this petition. Please feel free to do so at this time, and you will have 10 minutes to make your presentation.
Great. Good evening, President Flores, Board of Trustees, and Dr. Rodriguez. So I'm Casey Klappenbach. I'm the Assistant Superintendent of Educational Services, and I will begin with a brief background and introduction. So as you are aware, the district did receive a charter petition to establish the Endeavor Engineering Academy on June 9th, 2023. Petitioners seek approval of the petition for an initial 5-year term commencing on July 1st, 2024, and ending on June 30th, 2029. The petitioners for Endeavor propose to open a classroom-based charter school program within the district's boundaries, and the program is designed to serve students in 7th through 12th grade fully built out. In the first year of operation, Endeavor would enroll approximately 270 students in grades 7th through 9th, and then gradually expand one grade level each year as it reached its full enrollment of 500 students. Petitioners propose an educational model that is centered around a mission that students receive a rigorous standard-based core academic curriculum paired with a specialized career technical education to prepare them for work, opportunities, and post-secondary education. As you will recall, on July 25th, 2023, the board held a public hearing to determine the level of support for the petition by teachers and other district employees and parents and guardians as well. Members of the public spoke both in favor and in opposition to the petition. As part of the public hearing this afternoon, the board must consider the admissions preferences in the petition and to take action to approve or deny the petition. So our proposed findings and recommendations, district staff in consultation with legal counsel performed an extensive analysis of the petition, including all supporting exhibits and other documentations to evaluate the extent to which the petition met the legal requirements necessary to be considered for approval. Based on the comprehensive review, district staff recommends that the board deny the petition to establish the Endeavor Engineering Academy. The district's review team evaluated all aspects of the petition, including the proposed educational program, measurable student outcomes, methods for measuring student progress, fiscal and governance structures, employee qualifications, student admissions, facilities, and legal and administrative issues. The district found that the petition does not meet the criteria for the approval under the Education Code and prepared a staff report that includes its proposed findings of fact. The report was posted on the district website on August 28th, 2023. The details supporting the district's recommendations are included in the staff report. Therefore, I will not go into each proposed finding of fact in detail. However, I will like to highlight an opportunity of some of the main concerns and deficiencies that the review team identified. First, the petition describes different instructional approaches and strategies and affirms they will be aligned with Common Core standards, NGSS standards, the History Social Studies Framework, ELD standards and framework, and state content standards. However, the petition lacks a meaningful description of how the petitioners will align the actual curriculum with those standards. The petition also places heavy emphasis on the development and implementation of various CTE pathways as part of the instructional framework and expresses the need for trained and skilled workforce within these fields. Yet the petition is largely silent on the target student population that the charter school would seek to attract. Consequently, the district cannot ascertain whether the proposed educational model will provide a meaningful benefit to the students, that it is distinctive from what other district schools already offer our students. One of the largest areas of concern in the petition involves the measurable student outcomes. The petition is significantly lacking in terms of how the charter school would objectively measure student progress and performance. The methods to achieve the state priorities are overly generalized, and many of the goals are not even measurable. The district also finds it concerning that the petitioners did not differentiate among student subgroup populations, except in limited instances, and instead indicated that the various goals, actions, and methods of measurement would apply on a school-wide basis. This fails to take into account the distinct learning needs and other characteristics of the student populations that this charter school would be serving. With respect to staffing, the petition does not sufficiently describe the qualifications, experience required for key positions at the charter school, and therefore is overly generalized recruitment plan for teaching staff that does not detail recruitment strategies to bring in CTE qualified teachers, leadership positions, and non-teaching staff. The lack of planning for onboarding these key positions causes the district to question whether the petitioners would be able to successfully implement the proposed program. The district further identified concerns with the petitioners' financial statements, including the budget narrative, multiple year budget projections, which reflect inconsistencies in enrollment and average daily attendance projections, accounting for sources of funding that have not yet been confirmed, and gross underestimates of the cost to improve proposed facilities. In addition, the petition omits cash flow documentation, which restricts the district's ability to evaluate whether the charter would have sufficient funds to meet the ongoing monthly expenses. District staff also concluded that the petition did not include reasonably comprehensive descriptions of the proposed governance structure, employee qualifications, health and safety procedures, the balance of different student subgroup populations, admissions and lottery procedures, annual independent financial audits, dispute resolution procedures, and closure procedures. The descriptions of the proposed facility is also wholly lacking in detail, which prevents the district from assessing the suitability of the space for a CTA-focused educational program. With respect to admission preferences, the board is required to consider whether the proposed preferences are consistent with the law and do not limit enrollment access to students with disabilities, English learners, and other student populations. The admissions preferences described in the petition appear to be consistent with the law. Finally, I will briefly address district's proposed finding that the petitions are demonstrably unlikely to serve the interests of the entire community in which the charter school proposes to locate. As you are aware, this is referred to as the community impact finding. District staff has concluded that the petition does not describe any programmatic features that are new or innovative, and the proposed programming would undermine existing district offerings and services to students. The district already offers CTE pathways described in the petition, including residential and commercial construction, agricultural mechanics, welding and materials joining, a systems diagnostics service, and auto body repair. These pathways prepare and guide students to rewarding careers in a variety of skilled trades. The district CTE programs already have strong connections to various trade councils, training centers, building exchanges, and community colleges within Stockton, San Joaquin County generally. Further, over the last 5 years, the district has invested significantly in our CTE funding to grow these critical programs and increase their access to our students. So if the petition is granted, the charter school's proposed CTE programming would cause a corresponding loss in enrollment in district's schools. The loss of enrollment would in turn lead to a decrease in existing CTE funding streams, which would negatively impact the district's ability to fund improvements to CT facilities, provide industry standard equipment, and host work-based learning experiences for students. A loss of apportionment funding for these students would further jeopardize the district's access to critical grant funds used to support these programs. These are just a few examples of the significant and tangible community impacts that could result if the petition were granted. So in conclusion, district staff does not believe that this petition meets the minimum standards for the approval and therefore recommends that the Board of Trustees take action to deny the petition to establish the Endeavor Engineering Academy. District staff is also available to answer any questions from the board. Thank you.
Thank you for your report, Mr. Kloppenbach. The board will now hear any statements or comments from the petitioners, and you will have up to 10 minutes. Feel free to proceed, and your time will begin now.
Okay. I guess other than that, you loved my petition. That was, you met my low expectations for the staff report. I offered a 40-page reply, and I think I sent it to all of your email addresses, but just a summary before I get into the meat of my presentation. The 16-page staff report was loaded full of errors. And if you go through my reply, you'll see exactly where I show in the petition where the missing information that the staff claimed was. And for those of you who care to read it, but there's also, I think, a misapplication of the law and the district's responsibility. The legal standard for the board in evaluating any charter petition is to determine whether or not the legal elements have been met, and whether, and it also has, you may ask your lawyers to look this up. It also has a phrase in there, and it says, school districts shall encourage the development of charter schools. Needless to say, in the 16-page report I got back, I didn't see anything encouraging in there. And I think it shows that the district has a hostile attitude towards charter schools in general, and I'll deal with that later. But that said, we fulfill all the legal requirements, and if you care to read my reply, you'll see that in detail, more detail than the staff report had, I might add. So let me get to the rub. I think this is I was trying to figure out how to spend this time usefully, because the best part of this process is it's almost over. I think the useful thing is to talk about why we felt the need to propose an Endeavor Engineering Academy in the first place. We're responding to what we think are two failures of Stockton Unified. One is its extremely low math and English proficiency rates. I've been on school boards, and probably like you, I've been frustrated that you sit up there and you listen to people over and over talk about things that are not related to the students' academic performance. Are the kids learning how to read? Are they learning how to do the math? Should be the #1 question you face in a school board. But instead, school board meetings, not just in Stockton Unified, but elsewhere, are dominated by the concerns of adults. How much people are getting paid, what their working conditions are, not the fundamental job of the school district, which is to teach math and English and other core subjects. And on that score, this district is not doing well. 87% of the incoming high school students in this district are not proficient in math. And you start to say, well, they've got 4 more years, right? But the research shows that kids that enter high school and are not proficient in math, it usually don't graduate. And if they do graduate, they're not prepared for college. And so in the 8th grade, a lot of the future of that child is already determined, and the math and English proficiency rates are not preparing them for successful high school and beyond. And so what we want to do in our program, and we were actually criticized by the staff for this part of our proposal, but for kids, it seems so simple. For kids that are less than proficient in English and math, we provide them a lot more time on the subject to get them caught up. It's totally irresponsible for a school district to have those kinds of numbers and not apply more teaching time to math and English so that the kids can catch up. Your kids that are less than proficient going into high school have no chance of being successful unless you give them more instruction time. That's the bottom line. And Stockton Unified is not doing that. We propose to do significant more English and math proficiency remediation until the child gets up to proficiency. And so that's number one. We think that an 87% proficiency rate is an educationally unsound program. That's what you have right now in Stockton Unified. We think that what we offer, which is more math and English instruction time, is not only educationally sound, but the only moral thing to do when a kid's behind. Okay, so that's one big difference between us. The second big difference and a problem we're trying to solve. You know, I read 16 pages. I think 3 or 4 of them were not related to us, but talking about the district CTE programs. I've been watching the district CTE programs over the years. I think it's one of the few success stories in Stockton Unified. They've improved a lot over the years. The program, even in the program areas we're talking about, but in health sciences, the CTE programs in Stockton Unified have gotten better. I don't think they're nearly good enough or the scale is big enough, but that's not the point. What we want to do is when a kid graduates from high school, they should be prepared to do one of two things. They should either be prepared to go to college, which means meeting the CSU UC requirements, or they should be a CTE completer. A majority of the kids in Stockton Unified that graduate from your high schools are neither a CTE completer nor qualified for UC CSU requirements. We in our school, we've set up a program where all of the kids when they graduate from high school are CTE completers. Okay, so we think that's educationally a sound to make sure kids are either qualified for college or qualified for a career in a trade when they graduate from high school. A majority of your students are not, and they haven't been for some time. So the fact that you have better CTE programs, which I acknowledge and I'm for, does not get you anywhere near the scale you need to get to get your kids prepared for either career or college. So those are the two differences. We think that what's happening right now in your school district with regard to these two issues, English and math proficiency and CTE completion rates, is educationally unsound. We offer an alternative that is more educationally unsound, more educationally sound. And I think it's really ironic that we're accused when we offer a higher standard and a way to get there, that we're criticized by the district for it when the district is doing so poorly on those two issues right now. So finally, I'm not going to go through all the crazy items in that report. I did in writing. You can read it. I suggest you do, even if you're not going to vote for our proposal. It might provide you some insight into the way your staff analyzes charter petitions and might even help some of your other issues. But here's the bottom line with this. We're a small school. At our total build out would be 500 kids. In this behemoth school district, that's an insignificant number of kids. We have the revenue loss to the district is less than 0.1%. Okay, so it's not a significant issue. And we are not duplicative. Okay, it is true you have automotive programs, you have construction trade programs, but you don't put the two pieces together. In order to get to CTE completion rates high, the kids have to be English and math proficient before they enter the 9th grade. Otherwise, they won't have time to complete all the courses to get to finish the pathway. And so that's what we're doing. Nowhere in the district do you have those two pieces together. You don't have anything close to it. And our proposal is not a critique of your CTE programs. We encourage you to keep building your CTE programs. They're vastly needed in the community. Our little school doesn't solve the problem, but that's the bottom line. And finally, I would submit that it's a school board member's job to do what's best for the kids. We've heard some, I've sat through a couple of these meetings and I've heard it from other school districts. And you talk about the needs of adults all the time. The teachers union wants this, some other adults mad because they didn't get a promotion. What matters is the kids. Are the kids learning? Are they achieving high math and English proficiency rates? That is not an unknown thing. Right now, you're not achieving that. So whether it's my proposal or other items, you need more instruction time in math and English. And I hope you'll start asking your staff how you can get it, because there's other ways to do it besides charter schools. So thank you for listening.
Thank you for your presentation. The board will now receive comments from members of the public who desire to address this matter and have submitted a comment card. The total time for public comment will be 20 minutes. We will refer, and Christina will be the timekeeper for the comment card, or Yvette, sorry.
Individual speakers shall be allowed 3 minutes to address the board. The board shall limit the total time for public comment on each item to 20 minutes. Madam President, we currently have 4 public comment cards regarding item 8.1. The first speaker is Luis Barros.
Good evening, trustees. I just want to echo what Dr. Anderson said earlier. I'm getting a little tired of coming up here and telling the school board to reject the charters, but come up here I will. On behalf of CSEA members working in Stockton Unified, we urge the board to reject this petition from Endeavor. Again, we take issue with the clear disdain that this charter school has for staff. You cannot do what schools need to do without adults. And maybe it seems insignificant, but if the schools aren't clean, you don't have custodians, then how are students supported in learning? Classified makes learning happen every single day. Please look at Endeavor's presentation with a critical eye. You will notice how it's oriented itself towards the community. But ultimately, you heard it there. It's like, oh, it's just a little portion of your budget. It's just a tiny portion. It's a line. Students are a line item. They're not actually like whole and complete people deserving of a free education in our country. It's charter schools have gotten very good at co-opting the language of social justice to say that they can do what public schools can't, but that's all it is. It's a co-optation. It's not actually anything significant. It's just them using the language of social justice in order to manipulate school boards into thinking that they're going to be able to serve students better than what our public schools can do. So again, I don't want to take too much time, but I just wanted to urge the board to, again, reject this petition. Thank you.
Next public comment is from Dr. Christopher Anderson.
Guess who's back? I take exception to a lot of what I was hearing. I think we have a great staff that works really hard. I think somebody's forgetting that we're still rebuilding after COVID, which didn't just touch our students, it touched everybody here. I think that the idea that only 500 students is just it's absurd what you're saying. We work hard. We have teachers that are working hard. We have a great CTE program. There's nothing you're offering us that's going to make this any better. And coming up here and insulting our school district, insulting our teachers, insulting our trustees, and insulting our staff, that isn't going to get you any bona fides either. I'm frustrated when I see these people coming up time and time again, telling us, those of us who are doing the work on the front lines, how we're supposed to be working in the school district. Of course, we need to raise scores. Of course, we need to help our children learn. But you coming in here with your school, pretending like you're some kind of savior is a bunch of crap, and I'm not accepting it. No more charters.
Next public comment is from Mr. Steve Smith.
Good evening, Madam President, board members, superintendent, and community. My name is Steve Smith. As you well know, I was a board member of Stockton Unified for 8 years. Prior to that, my wife and I were looking for a charter school for our youngest daughter. And when we looked around, we couldn't find, we were actually going to start one, but we couldn't do that fast enough. So we found Stockton Early College Academy before it was a school. We found out that we were going to start that. My wife and I actually invested hours, days, and weeks and months getting that school started. Then I became vice president of that board. I don't know if that board is still going on right now, but what a successful school was started here, and a successful charter school. When I was on board, Stockton Unified, we started Health Careers Academy, an extremely successful charter school. And then another one that was Public Safety Academy. I understand somebody told me last month, I guess it was shut down for some reason. Now, with all that said, as a board member, when I was a board member, there were two major things that I did, and I believe that every board member should do. The number one thing is hire the right superintendent, give them the visions and goals, hold them accountable to the student improvement. That's pretty much it in a nutshell. There's a whole bunch more to it, and I know that. But that in a nutshell is all there is to it. And you hold them accountable by the test scores. Everything is geared around test scores. You go to college, you want to know what your test score is. The other one is your community. Right now, we have businesses like myself who are having a very difficult time finding people who at least know English and math well enough and have a career, or they've worked in a career, or they have a certificate at the end. And that's what our school does. Before they go look for a job, businesses will probably be saying, you know what, when you graduate, come to work for us, please. We are starving for people. I can't count how many people I've hired and fired because they just can't do it. They can't do the work here. Your goal is to take care of the community. What the work you do here affects the community. So if you do well in Stockton Unified, and a lot of schools you have are very successful in the charter schools, hopefully they stay here and they increase Stockton Unified. If you have some charter schools that come around, like Team and other charter schools that we did pass, and they're extremely successful and they're serving the community, that's what our businesses are looking for. That's what the people here are looking for. Once you have high-paying jobs, it raises the tax base, not taxes. Doesn't raise taxes, it raises the tax base. So our city and county can have more money to fix our streets, put street lights up, take care of the parks, do whatever the city does. That's what we are starving for out here. I hope you read everything. That's one thing that I did. I read all the information before I made a decision. I hope you did. Thank you for your support, and I appreciate what you do. Thank you.
The next public comment is from Gary Christopherson.
Good evening. My name is Gary Christopherson. I'm here just to briefly express my support for this endeavor academy. I have no axe to grind. None of us do. We're serious people supporting a serious effort to improve education for kids in the community, and that's the purpose of this. We're not looking for salaries. We're not looking for remuneration. We're looking for improvement in the schools and improvement of opportunities for these kids who need it. I know something about the schools. I know something about education. I went through all the schools here. I went through Jackson School in South Stockton up to Stagg and then off to college. And I got to good colleges, partly because of good education. I'd like to see these kids get that same opportunity. My wife was a teacher in Lincoln School District, Manhattan Beach, and in Linden. Excuse me. And I was a teacher at Stockton College for a period. So we know a little bit about the subject, and we'd like to see opportunity for kids. And I think this is a very well-studied and well-presented project. Dean and everyone else involved in this has done a lot of effort to see that it makes sense. And it's not adversarial to anybody else. It's an opportunity to create opportunities for kids. And that's what I hope we do. Thanks.
The next speaker is Dale Fritchen.
Good evening, board, superintendent, staff. I'm thankful for the opportunity I have to stand before you this evening. And I want to keep my thoughts towards the board. I'm not going to say anything disparaging about anybody tonight, but I want to key it towards you as a board, but not just you as a combination as a board, but you as an individual board member. I've been on school boards for 8 years, and I was on the city council for 4 years. I know what you're coming from and what you are seeing when you sit in those seats and what you're hearing. You have a lot of stakeholders, and all of those stakeholders are important. You have stakeholders that could be the administrative staff. You have some very qualified and very educated administrative staff who have good intentions. You have teachers, their staff, their stakeholders, and they're hardworking and they have degrees, they're educated and they have good intentions also. You have parents. Parents are very important. They care about their kids. They want what's right and they have good intentions also. You also have classified staff and all the different staff that make a school run, and they are all have good intentions and want to do the right thing. So I don't want to say anything disparaging about any of those groups. But you have one stakeholder group, which I think is, in my heart, is the most important, and that is the children. And that is why you're here, to improve the lives of the children, not to improve the lives of administrative staff, though you will do that, or teaching staff or classified staff. That will come naturally. But I think your main goal should be to improve the lives of children. Not too long ago, I was on a council where they had a very significant vote about bankruptcy in Stockton. I had a different opinion than the rest of the board. They did not agree with my opinion. My opinion was based upon principles. And I don't want to get too much into it. My principle is, if you sit across the table with somebody and you agree with something with them, that if you do this, we'll do that, I don't want to back out unless there's nothing else I can do. So I was the only vote that said, no, we should not go bankrupt. And there was a huge amount of pressure from staff, from my fellow board members, from the community, whatever. But I had to vote for what was in my heart. You as individuals have principles yourself, and those principles are important. More important than staff reports and all of that is, but principles that you've based your life on. I'm hoping that this evening that you'll reach down into your heart and use those principles to decide what's best for kids. Have the courage it takes to do that. That takes a lot of courage. I know, I've been there. One of the things that was mentioned is that our school will draw students away from the Stockton Unified pool of CTE students. That is only if our program is better. If Stockton Unified's program is better, that will not happen. I thank you for the time
Thank you, Mr.
tonight,
Fritchen.
and I appreciate your vote this evening also.
Thank you. The next public comment is from Adriana Cruces.
Good evening once again, Adriana Cruces, and I'd like to present my opposition to charter schools. It took me 12 years, 12 hard years to become an educated teacher who's qualified to teach at Stockton Unified School District. It fathoms me to understand that any charter school hires anyone uncredentialed to teach at these schools. I am completely opposed to put any children, any student in any classroom with an unprepared, uneducated teacher to lead, especially a science program. It takes a lot, and it takes years, and it takes preparation. I will not support any other charter school who hires teachers uncredentialed, as it took me a long time to get to where I'm at today. So please understand, these are our lives. This is our budget. These are our students. They deserve the best. They deserve teachers that are credentialed and prepared, not just any warm body in a classroom. Any charter school does not have the resources to not only just give curriculum, but there's special education services that lack the support in any charter school. Can you imagine a special education student without the resources they need? Can you imagine a teacher that's unqualified to deal with these predicaments? I myself find myself challenged at times with special education students, and I thank my district every day for having the support and the backup to support me in assisting any student with any disability at any given point. Charter schools do not have any of those resources. Please consider that when you think about any opening charter school coming your way. It's unfair and it's unjust, and it's money that needs to be put back into the classes where we are educated, we are credentialed, and we are certified to teach our kids. Thank you.
The last public comment card is from Mr. David Varela.
Good evening, everyone. Wow, charter schools, they're on the attack again. And we don't need another charter school. We've got plenty of them. They don't necessarily do the job that they say they can do. They don't do it any better than we do. And we are on a mission at Stockton Unified to make this a better place, not just for our students, but for the community itself. And that's what I do for a living. I try to do everything I can to make this a better place. I've been with this district since 1996. I had 9 children go through these schools. Okay. And I believe in every one of them got a good education. Some of them went off to do great things. Some of them are doing regular things, and that's okay. That's what it's all about. But if you want to improve the things in this district, in this city, okay, stop building warehouses. We are limiting our children to warehouse workers. So if business wants to see a workforce, if business wants to see things get better here, then start pressuring the city, the state for a college. We need a state college. That will change the entire layout of this place. It will start creating that workforce that they say we don't have. And they will start bringing those businesses that they say, these high paid jobs, which aren't here in Stockton. The highest paid jobs are here in this district. That's where people want to come to work for. Okay, that's where the money's at. It's not in any of the other things that we do here. So we really need to start pushing for that university. It's important that it comes here. That will keep those kids here. What is it? 6 out of the 9 kids that went to these schools of my children left. Why? There's nothing here for them. And most of the kids drain out every year. It's a big brain drain because of this reason. And charter schools won't fix it. That won't fix the problem. It's our responsibility to fix it. And I believe we're on that path. And so I am opposed to any new charter schools coming into this district. Thank you.
Madam President, this concludes public comments for item 8.1.
Thank you. We will now entertain any comments or questions from the trustees. Do any trustees wish to speak on this item?
I have a comment, Madam President.
Yes, you may.
I just want to say thank you to all the speakers that came out on both sides. Just for me, the one piece that I wanted to add kind of goes along with the last speaker. When I see students go to charter schools, the promises that they get when they go to charter schools is they're going to get better grades. They're going to have more resources. They're going to have more access. They're going to have support, smaller classrooms. In the end, we find those students coming right back to our school district, and a lot of them come with IEPs, SSTs, BSPs, plans that the charter school can't support and function with, and then they send back to us. And we realize that a lot of these IEPs, a lot of these behavior plans, they've been trumped up in addition to just the additional supports that they give to students that in the end leave them crippled when they come back to our school district and they're asked to, do things at the regular, way that we do it with all of our students. And so for myself, and I can tell you, my wife works at a charter school. For myself, I don't see these charter schools producing for our students the way that they're claiming. I do not see our students doing better at these schools. In fact, it seems as though most of our charter schools that are doing well, that we name like Team Charter and others, that in fact, they're taking our best students and our brightest students, and then they're claiming, that they've done great work, when in reality, those students were already great. And I think that that's something that we don't talk about enough. And so while I respect the people that have come here and spoke on both sides, what I can say is that this has been my individual experience. I've worked in charter schools in the past, and it hasn't been that long ago. And so for myself, while I appreciate the petition that's come, and I appreciate all the work that the gentleman and this, people within that community have done, I'm finding it hard to look at this and to believe that the work that you all want to do is fully in support of our school district. I would have liked to have seen a charter school application that's in the spirit of the original charter school legislation. And maybe you guys would have asked to come and be a part of our campuses and not to have your own school and to, show us how you can do it better. And so I think that that's something that is important for our community to think about as we move forward and as we continue to have these charter school applications, but also as community groups continue to think about the ways that we can support our students and our families and the opportunities that we have for employment moving forward in the future. Because I don't want factory workers and I don't want warehouse workers. And if those are the positions that you're hoping to fill in your jobs, maybe you need to find somewhere else to go. Thank you.
Thank you.
Can I have the,
Yes.
I would like to say this. I received phone calls from both sides. And I was very curious over the phone. I have parents who are excited and they're in charter schools. And they were very positive with me. I respond to them very positive. Also a church called me and in support of the charter school. But also members of the church got in touch with me. I want to thank you for each one of the people who come into the front, especially for the charter people, then they came here. We know who you are. They're you well-respected individuals in our community. And I know that in your heart, you're trying to do what is right. But at this moment, we have in crisis, then I will have to support the decision or administration. But you guys have a big heart. I know who you guys are. Maybe if you come along to our district and sit down with our superintendente and be part of us, it will be a step to come in. But at this moment, I want to thank you for you coming in here and everybody who you speak up in the front of the podium and all the unions who speak up. Right now, we're having a situation. All of us, we're trying just to do the things right. And you did the right thing. You follow the process. You came to us. And I want to thank you for you coming and bringing us all this data. I did read everything. And it was very moving, many, many things. And I want to thank everybody who come in and spoke on both sides. Thank you so much for coming today.
Okay. I see there's no other comments. I would like to go ahead and motion. I would like to accept a motion and second for resolution number 2317 to deny the charter petition to establish Endeavor Engineering Academy, followed by roll call. So can I get a motion?
I'll make the motion to deny the position for Endeavor Engineering Academy.
Can I get a second?
I second.
Roll call vote, please.
Vice President Stevens,
Yes.
Clerk Colon,
Yes.
Trustee Donaire,
Yes.
Trustee Mendez,
Yes.
Trustee Rico,
Yes.
Trustee Zulueta,
Yes.
President Flores.
Yes.
Motion passes unanimously. Thank you.
The public hearing on the Endeavor Engineering Academy charter petition is now closed. Moving on to item 9.1, approval of second reading for board policy 6146.1, high school graduation requirements, high school exit examination. Can I get a motion to approve?
All motion.
I'll second. Any discussion? Roll call vote.
So I do have a question. I'm not sure who's speaking on this particular one, but can we just talk about how this aligns with LCAP? Looking at the data in LCAP, it does show that some of our students, the graduation data shows less than where they currently are. So how does this align with improving our students' graduation rates for the years to come?
Good evening. So you're wondering if the new graduation requirements will align to the goals in the LCAP, Vice President?
Yes,
Stevens?
there were two particular subsections of data that show that two of them will actually decrease and not increase. So the baseline was at about 79%, and then it stated that that particular group would be down to 78%.
Are you looking at the projected graduation requirements for this year? Is that the data point you're looking at?
Yes, for 23-24.
Correct. We are looking at a projected decline in our graduation our graduation rates from previous year with AB 104 sunsetting. If you remember AB 104 from the state, lower the graduation requirements coming out of distance learning. That sunsetted this in 22. So it looks like we're about 1% below, maybe 1.2%. And that's the reason for that. Our extended year summer programming still did a lot of work to kind of clean up what we were doing in the regular year. But with the sunsetting of AB 104, we anticipated that a little bit of a dip. And moving forward with these graduation requirements, as we stagger through the progression to increase, we are aware of that, but it does align with the LCAP. We just looked at that dip from AB 104.
So then how do we increase, right? So we understand there is a dip. Does this summer assist us?
I would argue that the summer is a byproduct of other things that we're doing. We have to do it in real time. We should not wait for the summer to intervene. This is why we're doing things like intercession. This is why we're doing credit recovery before and after school, right around grading periods. The summer is a nice to have, don't get me wrong, but we can't wait till the summer. So the intercessions and what the comprehensives primarily are doing within the school day. They have interventions running within the school day, like Apex and Cyber High, and other credit recovery options during the day. That's where we address the concern. The summer we pick it up. Don't get me wrong, the summer's nice, but doing it in real, that response to intervention in real time is where we have to invest our efforts and not wait till the summer.
Okay.
Thank you. Any other questions?
Roll call vote.
Vice President Stevens. Yes. Clerk Colon.
Yes.
Trustee Donaire.
Yes.
Trustee Mendez. Trustee Mendez is currently absent. Trustee Rico.
Yes.
Trustee Zulueta.
No.
President Flores.
Yes.
Motion passes 5-1 with trustee Zulueta voting no and trustee Mendez being absent. Thank you.
10.1 board committee reports. Christina will read the oral announcement and announce each board committee for a report, and Yvette will be the timekeeper. And if we can limit that 3-minute limit to 2 minutes.
This is an opportunity to hear any reports from board committees, specifically regarding prior or upcoming committee meetings. There will be a 2-minute time limit per report. The first report is for the City of Stockton Parks and Recreation Committee by Trustee Donald Daener.
Hello, everyone. Good evening. So for City of Stockton Parks and Rec, for the San Joaquin County Parks and Rec, they are hosting a trunk or treat event. That's on Friday, the 13th of October from 4 to 7. This will be at Mickey Grove Regional Park in Lodi. This is an event that you must pre-register. And if you do sign up before September 15th, which is this Friday, you do have a chance to win a $100 Visa gift card. And then the last announcement I have is another Astronomy in the Park event happening in Oak Grove Regional Park on 8 Mile Road. This is hosted by the Stockton Astronomical Society, Oak Grove Docent Council, and San Joaquin County Parks. The next date is September 23rd, Saturday, starting at 7:50 p.m. On this day, attendees would be able to see the planet Saturn and the ring nebula called M57. So the next meeting for City of Stockton Parks and Rec Commission is September 25th, Monday, 5:30 at the City Council Chamber on the second floor of the Stockton City Hall. Thank you.
The next committee is the San Joaquin County School Boards Association Executive Committee by Trustee Donald Daener.
Is it okay if I pass the mic to Trustee Mendez? She has an update for CSBA.
She's
I know
not
she
here.
stepped out. So could we come back to that when she does?
Yes, sir. Will do.
Thank you.
The next committee is the 3x3 committee by Clerk Sophia Colon.
Hey, everyone, our next meeting is going to be on Monday, September the 25th at 5:30 here in the boardroom. And we do have the agenda posted. So we're going to be talking about a few things regarding the city, health and wellness, and our committee in general, our duties and so forth. So hope you all can attend.
The next committee is the 1852 Foundation Committee by Vice President Kanitha Stevens.
Thank you. So this is September, new month for all of our committees. So I will forego my time and just say that we have new meetings coming up for each of my committees, no new reports.
The next committee is the Curriculum and Student Outcomes Committee by Trustee Donald Danair.
Nothing to report at this time since the last meeting was in August. Our next meeting is scheduled Friday, October 27th, 5:30 at the district boardroom.
The next committee is English Learner Committee from President Angel Ann Flores.
Our next committee meeting is scheduled for November 7th.
The next committee is Equity and Diversity Committee by President Angel Ann Flores.
Our next meeting is going to be on September 27th. And we talk about some of the positions that we got. So if you guys have any questions on those, if you guys can come and attend our equity committee meeting, we can actually have a dialogue regards to our reasonings behind that.
The next committee is Safety and Student Conduct Committee by Vice President Kanitha Stevens.
So I'll forego my time for my committees. It's September, so we have upcoming dates for all meetings.
The next committee is Board Policy Committee by President Angel Ann Flores.
Next meeting is October 26th.
The next committee is Budget Oversight Committee by Vice President Kanitha Stevens.
Sure, so I will forego my time. September, new month, new meeting.
The next committee is the Transformative Justice Committee by Clerk Sophia Colon.
All right. Well, thank you for I don't know, just thank you. I'll start over. The notes I have for our meeting, we just had it on Monday, and we were able to talk about some of the reports that are specified in resolutions that initiated the Transformative Justice Committee. So that's resolution 1853, as well as another resolution 1922, which is the established the district policy for building space and redesigning justice resolution. So we were able to pull some reports that kind of overlap from the DOJ's requests. We talked about specifically the diversion program procedure and protocols for referrals relating to students who exhibit mental health needs or who are experiencing a mental health crisis. And we reviewed the student behavior, intervention, and discipline matrix. So we had a good discussion about those reports. So the next meeting, which is going to be on Monday, October the 16th, 5 p.m. here in the boardroom, we're going to continue to review some of the policies regarding restorative justice practices, what we have in place, and any reports and policies that are aligned again with those resolutions. And then we want to revisit the intent of our Transformative Justice Committee. So all in all, it was a good 1 hour packed meeting. And so I look forward to the next one. So again, it's Monday, October 16th, 5 p.m. here in the boardroom.
The next committee is the Black Students Thrive Committee by Vice President Kanitha Stevens.
Sure, I'll forego my time. New month, new meeting.
The next committee is the Board President Roundtable Standing Subcommittee by President Angel Ann Flores.
Our first meeting is scheduled for September 14th at 4 p.m. here in the boardroom. I look forward to seeing all you leaders and presidents in this room. And if you have anybody else who you would like to invite, if you're unable to, please send a representative.
And we're going to circle back to the San Joaquin County School Boards Association Executive Committee. Trustee Donald Danair relinquished his time to Trustee Mendez. She hasn't arrived.
She's still not back.
Okay.
Do you want to cover it or do you want to?
No, it's okay. We can just forego the time.
Okay, moving on to item 10.2, brief reports on trustees' activities. Christina will read the oral announcement and then Yvette will be the timekeeper. And if we can go ahead and limit that also to 2 minutes.
This is the opportunity for each trustee to make a brief announcement or to give a brief report on their recent activities at the district pursuant to the Brown Act. Government Code Section 54954.2A3. There will be a 2-minute time limit per report.
We'll start with trustee Donald Denaire.
Hello again. So I did 2 school site visits. They were both at Weber. The first one was with Dr. Rodriguez. We had the pleasure of visiting a couple classrooms, spoke to some students. Some of those classes, including the Health Academy, robotics and coding class. It was really good to walk around and see Principal Zarif again. The next day, I came back to Weber to visit the parent coffee hour. And they were just talking about, well, first of all, this group of parents at Weber are really active. So I'm really appreciative of their commitment, their advocacy for their students. One of their main concerns still, I shared this earlier this year, is the safety on and close to campus. I'm looking forward to meeting with the Safety and Student Conduct Committee to bring some of the concerns up. They're mostly around the phasing plans for the buzzer security access system, a follow-up on traffic and parking code enforcement, and possibly having an officer patrol during lunchtime when students are off campus and going to buy food around downtown area. So I will be following up with the Committee on Safety. And then the next school site visit that I have will be tomorrow morning at Cleveland Elementary, again with Dr. Rodriguez. Thank you.
Clerk Cologne.
All right, well, just trying to keep this brief, but I don't want to miss anything. I'll start off with talking about Peyton's back to school night. I was happy to be invited. I spent some time there. It was just exciting to see all the families in attendance. I was able to introduce myself and just briefly explain my role as trustee. This week, I'm meeting with principals at each school in Area 6. So I have several scheduled throughout the week. So my intention is to just listen and learn about what's important on their sites so I can be the best advocate that I can for our students there. We certainly do have our challenges that we are working through. And so we're acknowledging those, but we know we're going to work through those. I'm also seeing and hearing so many good things in the classroom. And what I'll do is I'm going to create a list. I'm going to share that with superintendent and our communications director, Ms. Meza. So you'll be able to go and cover those stories, and then we can just keep sharing the good news and our students working so hard. And one thing that I just want to say is I wasn't able to attend every classes at every site, but the ones I did, I tried not to be disruptive. You're opening the door quietly and you're just kind of stepping in there. And except for the brief, turn to look, but those students were in there. They were either typing or they were in their discussions. It was just really encouraging to see just the engagement and just the focus. And that's all the different grade levels. So it was encouraging to see that. Let's see, outside of that, I have been attending monthly trainings with our North Valley Labor Federation. So the most recent one was last Saturday on raising revenue. So it was interesting to hear and learn from other districts and what they do. I have an upcoming coffee with Trustee Cologne at DF Donuts this Saturday from 8 to 9. There's also Family Day in the Park. And High School Chavez Chinese students in that program are participating in the Moon Festival event next Saturday.
Now you know how I feel, see, right?
Yeah, that's it. Almost made it. Almost made it.
All right, Mr. Zulata.
Thank you, Madam President. Good evening, everyone. Just real quick, I had an opportunity to go over to Cole Elementary last week and participate in their memorial for not only Bud West, but just the other people that have gone on or been important in their school community over the years. And it was really just an awesome opportunity to just see how that part of our community celebrates and remembers their history. I got a real cool connection to Bud West. I was a student of his daughter's for 3 years in high school, and just had a real amazing opportunity to see some of those lessons kind of secondhand through his daughter Rachel. And so for myself to be there, it was really cool to see the Ladybug release, to see all the students and how excited they were at it, but also just the staff and the other adults that are there that have been through that over and over, to explain and express to the children how important it is, that small ceremony, but how important it is to the culture of Cole and how they do things over there. And so I was really appreciative to be a part of that. And then just on a, hopefully we can do a little bit better. I've been getting some calls just from different teachers throughout the district that are really wanting to get their test scores back. And so at some of our schools, without, naming them individually, our teachers are requesting that they're able to get their test scores back because they haven't had the opportunity to have that. And so, for our staff, if we can look at, those test scores and try to make sure that we're getting them to all of our schools and to all of our teachers, and, just checking with our admin and making sure that they're getting access for those teachers, I think that would help us a long way with just our educational goals. So thank you all for being here, and thank you for the time.
Trustee Rico?
Good evening to all again. Thanks for being here with us today. And I just want to start with to welcoming the hold on, give me a second. The student board representative from Franklin High School. And I had the opportunity to visit some of my sites the last week. And I was excited to see, I visited especially kindergarten classes. So I was excited seeing those students so positive, so excited. And the thing that caught my attention, it was as soon as we opened the door, all the students stopped what was they doing, and they say, hola. So yeah, you guys imagine what kind of school I'm talking about. They start conversing with us in Spanish. So this school was Pigman Charter School. And the other side that I visit, it called my attention, and I feel sad for that, because as administratives, we fail into those students. Those students are the students that they barely arrive to this country. And they're being put in those classrooms without understanding any word of English. So they're not part of the inclusion. So we need to focus on those students and look for a solution. Can please, maybe I'm not supposed to be saying this here, but the only thing that I want to understand you guys is I'm here for the students. And when I found something like that, I feel like I'm failing myself to them. So we just need to, sorry. Thank you anyways. But yeah, we just try to find a solution for this? Superintendent? Thank you.
Vice President Stevens?
So I attended the Native American powwow over at UOP, which is really a awesome experience in our Native American families, being out at UOP on a really pretty day. Weather was good, watching the dancers, and then also there was a scholarship committee. Wasn't exactly sure the woman who was running it, but they are offering scholarships for Stockton Unified School District students through the Native American family. So we also need to spread that information. I attended Senior Sunrise at Pacific Law Academy at 5 o'clock in the morning. And COVID has really changed the world because donut shops are no longer open at 4 o'clock in the morning. After hitting about 4 donut shops, I went to DF Donuts, which is in our neighborhood. I'm banging on the door. They know me there, right? So they opened the door for me at 4 something in the morning. So I was really, really happy because I would have been embarrassed to show up, with the kids without donuts in my hand. So I was able to get donuts at like 4:45 right before. Starbucks is not open at 4 o'clock anymore either. So we really need to change that. And the last thing is tomorrow we will be out at Stack for the ceremony for the school forum. Thank you to Nate and Kristen, all the good work that you do for the CTE program. So we're really excited tomorrow, and also Principal Tolliver to be out there to offer pathways to our students that are really unique to the things that they want to do in life, right? I think that's what makes Stockton Unified such a unique place, that we do have many opportunities for our students. So the career paths that they're picking, we're making sure that we're able to provide those for them. So thank you to the work that you all do. Really excited, and thank you for Ms. Kabayashi, to Ms. Coleman, Jennifer Robles, Mary Santella, Tyra Iris, and also Jillian Galinde for the work that you all did for offering a voice for our students out at the dinner and data event. So kudos, and school is not school if our students' voices are not a part of the process.
Hey, thank you. I am visiting my school sites still. I attended a Faces, had a downtown. They blocked off the street downtown, and they gave away free backpacks and gave away some free school supplies. So I was able to attend and kind of volunteer there. I also made it to the Crime Stoppers fundraiser, a bowling event that we were able to attend. And I was able to make it to our counselors, our speech pathologists meeting. I do so much, I forget what I do. So this is one of those things where I'm forgetting everything that I do, but I am being active in the communities, and I don't want to take too much time, but thank you all for being here and being so supportive. Oh, and I have to brag about, since I've seen Ms. Machuca here, Nightingale. During my day of visiting and helping them out for a day, I noticed a 6th grade class needed some encouragement. So a PBIS incentive of you clean up after yourself or your teacher without telling your teacher that you're doing a good job, just to, make your teacher's job a lot easier. And they succeeded. They had to keep their classroom clean for 30 days. So they were able to earn a pizza party, and I will be in their class on Friday with a pizza party for our 6th grade students. So yay. And also congratulations to Hamilton getting a leader. I know Hamilton was struggling and they were questioning if they were going to have a leader this year. So thank you to all the team who gave us our principal. Thank you. And Trustee Mendez is still not here. Can we check and see if she's okay? Is she okay? Because I know she's not in the restroom. So I don't know if we want to check and make sure that she's fine wherever she is. She's kind
Vice
of
President Stevens already go to check.
Oh, okay. Moving on to item 10.3. Approval to reschedule a regular board meeting scheduled for October 10th to October 17th. Can I get a motion to approve?
I'll make the motion to approve.
Can I get a second? I'll second. Roll call vote, please.
Vice President Stevens,
Yes.
Clerk Olon,
Yes.
Trustee Donaire,
Yes.
Trustee Mendez,
Yes.
Trustee Rico,
Yes.
Trustee Zulueta,
Yes.
President Flores.
Yes.
Motion passes unanimously. Thank you.
We are now on to 10.4, approval of minutes. If I could just make a motion actually to approve 10.4, 10.5, and 10.6 all together.
I'll second that motion.
Roll call vote, please.
Vice President Stevens,
Yes.
Clerk Olon,
Yes.
Trustee Donaire,
Yes.
Trustee Mendez,
Yes.
Trustee Rico,
Abstain.
Trustee Zulueta,
Yes.
President Flores.
Yes.
Motion passes 6-0 with Trustee Rico abstaining. Thank you.
Moving on to 11.1, superintendent's report.
Yes, thank you very much. So we have had two fantastic town halls. I want to thank the HR staff for their support during the first town hall, and then facilities and business services for the support on the second town hall. Also, Marcus Omlin was there talking about safety as it does with facilities. I encourage everybody to come out on Thursday because we are going to be talking about broad course of study. So if you want to hear about AP, specialty schools, all of the wonderful things that we are actually doing, CTE programming, and hear about that, we'll actually be talking about that VAPA programming on Thursday. So we hope that we see you there. I continue doing my visits. It's been great having some of the trustees hang out with me during that time. Today I went to the young adult program, so the YAP program, and was part of their televised program today. And it was so heartwarming. It was really, truly good, probably going to be the best part of my week for sure. And then I am reading during Party in the Park. So if you want to come out, I'm going to be doing some of my favorite children's books at 2 p.m. With our community. So we hope to see you on Saturday. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Rodriguez. 11.2, approval of agreement to furnish consultant services with Educators Thriving. Can I get a motion to approve?
I'll make the motion to approve.
I second.
Any discussion? Roll call vote.
Vice President Stevens.
Yes.
Clerk Olon,
Yes.
Trustee Donaire,
Yes.
Trustee Mendez.
Yes.
Trustee Rico,
Yes.
Trustee Zulueta,
Yes.
President Flores.
Yes.
Motion passes unanimously.
Moving on to item 11.3, approval to purchase ICU Technologies video intercom solution as a district access control system. Can I get a motion to approve?
I'll make the motion to approve.
I second the motion.
Any discussion?
Thank you, Mr. Omlin and the team, because this is sorely needed.
I also want to say thank you. I had the privilege to sit in and receive a presentation from the team who's going to be providing these services. And just in the presentation that I received, all of them seemed here in the best interest of safety of our students. And you could tell the intent of the presenters are really embedded in just meeting the needs of our school districts. And so to be able to see that the people presenting, because sometimes depends on who's presenting the information and what their intent is, and it's not about the money. And that's one thing that I looked and I respect, and all the team was experienced in working with districts across the state. And other people. And I think they mentioned that they mostly only work with school districts because that's where their main concern is. Another thing that I really liked, which I think our board who supports like the DOJ stuff, is that once they get to another program, I don't know if this is the same program, but if you ever need to find a student or something happen, their profiling is not based off of facial features or color. It's based off of clothing. And that's what I think already is the first step to not profiling our students, but to actually go off of what the description of what we're wearing and stuff like that. And I think those who know what I'm talking about, because I'm not that great at explaining things sometimes. But I really appreciate that coming from them. And I look forward to the other services that they offer, because they do offer a lot of services as far as safety concerned is. And I'm waiting to see us get a student-wide badge. I don't have my badge with me today. I think my kids kind of lost it a little bit, but there's a badge that you just click the button and the teachers will have instant access to security support. And they will know who holds the badge. They will know where you're at, and it will alert our SUSD PD, and they will know exactly where to go. And I think that's the most important. If a teacher falls and is unable to make the call, a student can push that button for them. And I think that's the most important safety concern that we have. So with that being said, roll call vote.
Vice President Stevens.
Yes.
Clerk Colon,
Yes.
trustee Donaire,
Yes.
trustee Mendez.
Yes.
Trustee Rico,
Yes.
trustee Zulueta,
Yes.
President Flores.
Yes.
Motion passes unanimously.
Moving on to item 11.4, ratification of legal services agreement with Miss Kate I am Legal Counsel Burke Williamson and Sorensen LLP. Can I get a motion to approve?
Make a motion first.
I'll second.
Any discussion? I have some, I guess, I don't know if it's comments or questions. I know we did discuss this. And there's just, because of the climate and the negative climate regarding this law firm, I just want to clarify for those who questioned why we still have this law firm, on why we're still having some cases with them.
Certainly. So these are 3 follow-up cases. We actually just settled with one of them. So this is just closing up 2 of the cases. If we would have transitioned to a different law firm, then it would have cost the district significant money, because they would have had to done all the research behind it. So both of these final 2 cases are in the final stages of mediation or settlement. And so they're just finishing up these 3 specific cases. Now that we had closed session tonight.
Thank you. Moving, oh, now we need to vote. Sorry. Roll call vote.
Vice President Stevens.
Yes.
Clerk Colon,
Yes.
trustee Donaire,
Yes.
trustee Mendez.
Yes.
Trustee Rico,
Yes.
trustee Zulueta,
Yes.
President Flores.
Yes.
Motion passes unanimously.
Moving on to item 11.5, ratification of the legal services agreement with Fagan, Friedman, and Full Frost LLP. Can I get a motion to approve?
Motion.
Can I get a second? I'll second. Can I, discussion? Roll call vote.
Vice President Stevens.
Yes.
Clerk Colon,
Yes.
trustee Donaire,
Yes.
trustee Mendez,
Yes.
trustee Rico,
Yes.
trustee Zulueta,
No.
President
on.
Flores.
Yes.
Can I change my vote to abstain, please? Because I don't see no sign, I mean, amount of money in this.
Okay. Motion passes 5-1 with trustee Zulueta voting no and trustee Rico abstaining. Thank you.
Okay, moving on to item 12.1, adoption of resolution 2321. Recognizing September 15th to October 15th, 2023 as National Hispanic Latinx Heritage Month. Can I get a motion to approve?
Motion Stevens.
Second.
Roll call vote.
Vice President Stevens.
Yes.
Clerk Colon,
Yes.
trustee Donaire,
Yes.
trustee Mendez.
Yes.
Trustee Rico,
Yes.
trustee Zulueta,
Yes.
President Flores.
Yes.
Motion passes unanimously.
Moving on to item 12.2, adoption of the revised local control accountability plan for Stockton Unified School District for the 23-24 school year. Can I get a motion to approve?
Make a motion.
Second.
Discussion?
Yeah, so, is the team here or no? Team's not here?
Dr. Ramirez is here.
So just looking at some of the data, like 3.2 with family engagement, one of the items, it was removed, and then looking at some of the financials in it, some of the carryovers don't exactly add up, and then we still have a blank LCAP going forward. And then also, how do we add to the team, right? So LCAP just can't be 3 people, but it should be a larger team to do the work.
Sorry about that. Technical difficulties and can't see. So not a good combination. Thank you for your questions, Vice President Stevens. They're very good questions. So I want to start with the easy one in terms of what does an LCAP team look like? And we've had extensive conversation about that. There's been transition, but on the positive side of that, there's been great advocacy to post and recruit for the director of LCAP, which we are currently doing. I've been working with our assistant superintendent of HR to do that in conversation with cabinet. So we are looking forward to having some great candidates to interview. In addition, what I proposed to cabinet as part of the LCAP engagement plan, which was a sort of a big snapshot this week in cabinet to talk about resuscitating the district LCAP committee. And it was a process that we used back when Dr. Connor Sloan was here. And that was aside from our parent engagement activities and stakeholders, back during the time he was here, which I thought was a great process, was to bring in all of the district management administrators together once a month. And he would walk through data collection, the process, and then where we were at to monitor and hold people accountable to the work, because it is a blueprint for our educational program. And so we all need to know where we're at. So that's been a bit of a challenge, just given, again, sort of the nuances with transition in leadership. So yes, we agree. It won't be a team of just 3. There will be different types of teams. And I think that that's something that we can bring back to the board in terms of what teams exist and what their roles and responsibilities will look like, because we all know that different teams will work in different parts of what that's going to look like. So we'll have external and internal teams. So yes, we're thinking through that. We already have recommendations on the table, and those will be monthly meetings outside of the engagement that will happen with community. This year, my recommendations to Superintendent Rodriguez is to start the engagement process earlier than previous years. So we will kick off in October versus January, which is what has happened in the past. And we are looking forward to, again, the recommendations are to have meetings with all of our unions, meetings within our parent advisory committees that would include DLAC, African American Black PAC, Latino PAC, and PAC. And outside of that, also 3 meetings with each of those, but we're also going to expand and have engagement opportunities at each of the areas, the 7 versus the 4 that we did last year. So those are some of the recommendations, and then we could bring it back to the board so that we can look at details. I have an update. So yes, thinking through that, trying to be mindful and staying encouraged with that work.
To ensure, sorry, not to cut you off, but to ensure that the dollars are matching and the carryovers, and also some baselines are missing as well. And then some of them are the same. When is this LCAP due?
So it is due on, I just saw it on my calendar. Tiffany, give me the exact date, because I just closed to the county, right? But then we have time, and then when is it due to the actual state? Is it due the 2nd? Because I thought I saw it on my calendar on a different date. And so while she walks up to the podium, there's been some shifts in terms of how we're working with business services. And so my
conversations with Tiffany and our chief business officer has been that we work with business services to incorporate the allocations and the funding, just given that they're the experts. So if we, Joanne, I don't want to put you on the spot, so maybe we could talk a little bit about what that looked like, to have our budget analysts support the fiscal side of that. We've done that in the past through state and federal, but for this version, we sort of took a back seat and worked more closely with our business services to ensure that they were scrubbing the numbers and looking at the allocations more precisely based on a spreadsheet that was provided to us by the county office. So I will hand it over to Tiffany. If it is tomorrow, then just say that, and then what that looks like.
So I just wanted to clarify. So this is a revision to what was already approved by the board. So this isn't a new cycle of documentation. What this is they had requested us to do a revision prior to the state requirement of September 15th. And so this is what you guys approved in June that now we're being asked, and they did technical assistance with the COE to make specific changes to that document. So I just want to note that there probably isn't too much leeway at this point to make a lot of changes to this document, because this is actually the document that you guys already approved for the past school year. And then now we're going to be going through the process that Dr. Ramirez is talking about for our 3-year refresh. So we're going to do an entire 3-year refresh for this upcoming year. And so I just wanted to make sure everyone is aware, this isn't a new document. This is actually revisions to an old document.
So I think part of the problem is that we are having LCAP come to us right before the deadline each time. That's what made it so hard for us to have to approve it initially, because we have an LCAP that does have a lot of blanks. And this is not regarding Tiffany, right? This is just about what the LCAP looks like. It is blank. There are places where the carryovers don't match. There are things that were taken out without conversations with the community, but each time we get the LCAP, we approve it because we're up against time. And that's the concern. We can't be up against time when we're talking about the LCAP, because it is the district's plan to move forward with what we're going to do with education. So that makes it hard for us as a board when we're already under the scrutiny of the county and of the state to say we're not going to approve the LCAP. We need to have the LCAP in a timely and efficient manner that we can go through all of the things that should be done. And then we also have an LCAP that is complete, and we don't have a completed LCAP at this moment.
So there's 2 times that I would suggest that we really dig into it. One is when we do, by law, we have to do an LCAP update. So that occurs during the middle of the year when there's a lot of time. And then 2, unfortunately, every school district does hit a close timeline, because you have to, by law, do the LCAP and then the budget meeting on the same time. So you do a public hearing and then the approval at the final. I think we made it a little bit closer than we should have this year here in Stockton, but I will say that because you have to include the budget numbers, every school district in the state is approving it pretty close to that timeline, because you do, it's a boom, boom. You go LCAP budget is what you do. So what we could do is, 1, make sure that we have a more thorough conversation when we're doing, we're doing the LCAP update. And then 2, when we do the public hearing, which would give you then 2 weeks to really reflect, and before we approve it, make sure that we have a solid document for that public hearing. Because then you could have 2 weeks, which I know still doesn't feel like a lot of time, but 2 weeks of really solid reflection on it.
Yeah, I agree. So I understand LCAP. I've done the first 4 LCAPs when it first came to the state regarding education. I did them here as a district. I understand the process. but not giving time to be reflective and having the board to look at it right before, not to be able to go back and regurgitate the information. That's the issue that we're having concerns with. And I think just having it so close, we get it, but when there's an adoption also, we still should give the community the opportunity to have reflection and to make comments on that as well. But we have to do better on the LCAP. And I think that's why a team is needed, not just a few people trying to make the LCAP happen.
Vice President Stevens, I do want to share that that's the exact conversation we had as it pertains to the timeline and the landscape. And part of the recommendation was to post the draft on website and then also follow up with community to give community a final run through of the LCAP as well as the board. So that is, again, definitely a conversation we're having to ensure that there is that reflective time and some, whether it's 2 weeks or more, so that folks can give or feel like they're being heard in the event that there's additions or adjustments that need to happen. Yeah.
Is the budget and the LCAP like the regular budget? I know it's all together, but in speaking to community about it, it's like we don't even know what our budget is. So how are we able to build the LCAP?
I'm going to let Joanne speak on this because I know that there are specifics and there's, I believe, a spreadsheet that we utilize.
So we receive a spreadsheet from the county. Most districts are allowed to do it through a calculator. We're not. We get our numbers from the county and they tell us exactly what's supposed to be LCFF and what's supposed to be in supplemental concentration. We start working with the LCAP with Tiffany this year. We worked with her. We had a spreadsheet and we made sure that every item that she had, we budget accordingly into the system. And then the carryover, there was just a little issue with some numbers. So that's why we worked with county to correct that. And that's what we had to update in the LCAP. But we do work with each other. We do have them coded. So one thing with the new system, we're using an extra field called DEX code. And what that means is in LCAP goal. So if it says goal 1, action 2, there's a certain DEX code that's associated to that. So if you guys want to see what we spent in that, I can actually pull the report under that resource with that DEX code and you can see exactly what's being spent out of the LCAP on that amount or what has been spent.
Thank you for your little mighty small team, Tiffany, and Dr. Murphy. And I know it sounds a little rough up here, but we have seen the sweat and long hours that you guys have put into this. So please don't let our questions or concerns ever discourage you from the work that you have done or that we don't appreciate all that work that you guys have contributed. And Dr. Gonzalez as well. So all of you guys, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, so moving on to roll call vote.
Vice President Stevens,
I'll abstain.
Clerk Lalonde,
Yes.
Trustee Donaire,
Yes.
Trustee Mendez.
Yes.
Trustee Rico,
Yes.
Trustee Zulueta,
Yes.
President Flores.
Abstain.
Motion passes 5-0 with Vice President Stevens and President Flores abstaining. Thank you.
Moving on to item 12.3, approval to purchase licenses of the Elevation Platform with Curriculum Associates, LLC, to provide support for the Title III English Learner Program compliance.
Make a motion.
Second.
Discussion? Thank you. That's all my comment is. Thank you for giving us some support for English language learners. And I'd like to hear more about it. And I also asked that this information be brought to our English language committee for future. No, you're good. Yeah, we're going to keep on moving, but just that. Next. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Roll call vote.
Vice President Stevens.
Yes.
Yes.
Clerk Lalonde,
Yes.
Trustee Donaire,
Yes.
Trustee Mendez.
Yes.
Trustee Rico.
Yes.
Trustee Zulueta.
Yes.
President Flores.
Yes.
Motion passes unanimously.
Moving on to item 12.4, ratification of a non-public agency master contract with Access Language Connection, Inc. for the Special Education Department for 23-24 school year. Can I get a motion?
Motion, Cecilia Mendez. first.
Second.
Discussion? Roll call vote.
Vice President Stevens.
Yes.
Yes.
Clerk Colon,
Yes.
trustee Donaire.
Yes.
Trustee Mendez.
Yes.
Trustee Rico,
Yes.
trustee Zulueta,
Yes.
President Flores.
Yes.
Motion passes unanimously.
Moving on to item 12.5, approval of an amendment to the products and services quote order with achievement via individual determination for Avid for the Educational Services Department for the 23-24 school year. Can I get a motion to approve?
I'll make the motion to approve.
Can I get a second?
Second.
Discussion? Roll call vote.
Vice President Stevens,
Yes.
Clerk Colon,
Yes.
trustee Donaire,
Yes.
trustee Mendez.
Yes.
Trustee Rico,
Yes.
trustee Zulueta,
Yes.
President Flores.
Yes.
Motion passes unanimously.
Moving on to item 12.6, ratification of non-public agency master contract with Maxim Healthcare Staffing Services, Inc. for the Special Education Department for the 23-24 school year. Can I get a motion to approve?
I make a motion.
I'll second.
Any discussion? Roll call vote.
Vice President Stevens.
Yes.
Clerk Colon.
Yes.
Trustee Donaire.
Yes.
Trustee Mendez.
Yes.
Trustee Rico,
Yes.
trustee Zulueta.
Yes.
President Flores.
Yes.
Motion passes unanimously.
12.7, approval for sixth grade students from Harrison, Grunsky, Roosevelt, Kennedy, and Madison schools to attend science camp at Camp Loma Mar Wolf School in Loma Mar, California. Can I get a motion to approve?
I'll make the motion.
I second.
Any discussion? Roll call vote.
Vice President Stevens.
Yes.
Clerk Colon.
Yes.
Trustee Donaire.
Yes.
Trustee Mendez.
Yes.
Trustee Rico.
Yes.
Trustee Zulueta.
Yes.
President Flores.
Yes.
Motion passes unanimously.
12.8, approval to purchase TK through eighth grade level books from Scholastic Book Solutions Company for students in Expanded Learning Opportunities Program, known as the ELOP program. Can I get a motion to approve?
I'll make the motion to approve.
Can I get a second?
Second.
Any discussion? Roll call vote.
Vice President Stevens.
Yes.
Clerk Colon.
Yes.
Trustee Donaire.
Yes.
Trustee Mendez.
Yes.
She said yes.
Thank you. Trustee
Yes.
Rico.
Yes.
Trustee Zulueta.
Yes.
President Flores.
Yes.
Motion passes unanimously.
Moving on to 12.9, approval for the CTE departments to purchase 4 anatomage tables for patient care pathways at Chavez Health Careers Academy and Edison High Schools. Can I get a motion to approve?
Motion.
I'll second.
And I get a roll call vote.
Vice President Stevens.
Yes.
Clerk Colon.
Yes.
Trustee Donaire.
Yes.
Trustee Mendez.
Yes.
Trustee Rico.
Yes.
Trustee Zulueta.
Yes.
President Flores.
Yes.
Motion passes unanimously.
I'm so tongue-tied today. Item 13.1, approval of the memorandum of understanding between Stockton Unified School District and CSEA and its Stockton Transportation Chapter 885 regarding attendance incentives for October 1, 2023 to May 30th, 2024. Can I get a motion to approve?
I'll make the motion to approve.
Can I get a
Second.
any discussion? Roll call vote.
Vice President Stevens.
Yes.
Clerk Colon.
Yes.
Trustee Donaire.
Yes.
Trustee Mendez.
Yes.
Trustee Rico.
Yes.
Trustee Zulueta.
Yes.
President Flores.
Yes.
Motion passes unanimously.
Item 13.2, approval of the reorganization of the Human Resources Department. Can I get a motion to approve?
Motion.
Can I get a second?
Second.
Any discussion? Roll call vote.
Vice President Stevens.
Yes.
Clerk Colon.
Yes.
Trustee Donaire.
Yes.
Trustee Mendez.
Yes.
Trustee Rico.
Yes.
Trustee Zulueta.
No.
President Flores.
Yes.
Motion passes 6-1 with trustee Zulueta voting no. Thank you.
13.4, approval of the reorganization for student support. Oh, sorry. So on my sheet, 13.3 is skipped. I don't have one on here, so, and I wrote it down right here too. 13.3, reorg of student support services. Can I get a
I'll
motion
motion.
to approve?
I'll motion.
Second,
Okay, there's a clerical error on my sheet, so where we end, Abby, where did we end?
I have a first and a second for item 13.3. Is it okay that I take roll call?
Yes.
All right. Vice President Stevens,
Yes.
Clerk Olon,
Yes.
Trustee Donaire,
Yes.
Trustee Mendez.
yes.
Trustee Rico,
Yes.
Trustee Zulueta,
No.
President Flores.
Yes.
Motion passes 6-1 with Trustee Zulueta voting no. Thank you.
Okay, item 13.4 is agreement of the reorganization of the Business Services Department / Division. Can I get a motion to approve?
Make a motion, Cecilia Mendez.
Can I get a second?
I'll second.
Any discussion? Roll call vote?
Vice President Stevens,
Yes.
Clerk Olon,
Yes.
Trustee Donaire,
Yes.
Trustee Mendez.
Yes.
Trustee Rico,
Yes.
Trustee Zulueta,
No.
President Flores.
Abstain.
Motion passes 5-1 with Trustee Zulueta voting no and President Flores abstaining. Thank you.
Okay, back on task. 13.5, approval of the title change of the Coordinator of Music Education to Administrative of Arts Education and Curriculum Professional Development Department. Management Team Salary Schedule. Can I get a motion to approve?
Motion,
I'll second.
Any discussion? Roll call vote?
Vice President Stevens.
Yes.
Clerk Olon.
Yes.
Trustee Donaire.
Yes.
Trustee Mendez.
yes.
Trustee Rico.
Yes.
Trustee Zulueta.
Yes.
President Flores.
Yes.
Motion passes unanimously.
Item 13.6, adoption of resolution number 23-19, waiver request, variable term waiver. Can I get a motion to approve?
Motion,
Second.
Discussion? Roll call vote?
Vice President Stevens.
Yes.
Clerk Olon.
Yes.
Trustee Donaire.
Yes.
Trustee Mendez.
yes.
Trustee Rico.
Yes.
Trustee Zulueta.
Yes.
President Flores.
Yes.
Motion passes unanimously.
Item 13.7, adoption of resolution number 23-18, waiver request, English language authorization. Can I get a motion to approve?
Motion,
I'll second.
Can I get discussion? Roll call vote?
Vice President Stevens.
Yes.
Clerk Olon.
Yes.
Trustee Donaire.
Yes.
Trustee Mendez.
yes.
Trustee Rico.
Yes.
Trustee Zulueta.
Yes.
President Flores.
Yes.
Motion passes unanimously.
13.8, adoption of resolution number 2320 for the 23-24 provisional internship permits. Can I get a motion to approve?
Motion,
Second.
Discussion? Roll call vote?
Vice President Stevens.
Yes.
Clerk Olon.
Yes.
Trustee Donaire.
Yes.
Trustee Mendez.
yes.
Trustee Rico.
Yes.
Trustee Zulueta.
Yes.
President Flores.
Yes.
Motion passes unanimously.
13.9, approval of the education affiliation agreement with Biola University for the Human Resources Department. Can I get a motion to
Motion.
approve?
Second.
Discussion? Roll call vote?
Vice President Stevens.
Yes.
Clerk Olon.
Yes.
Trustee Donaire.
Yes.
Trustee Mendez.
Yes.
Trustee Rico.
Yeah.
Trustee Zulueta.
Yes.
President Flores.
Yes.
Motion passes unanimously.
14.1, adoption of resolution 2324 establishing Citizens Oversight Committee and its bylaws for Measure C and Measure E. Can I get a motion to approve?
Motion,
I'll second.
A discussion?
I just want to be sure the current committee will be the same committee. Is that correct? Because it didn't say if we were establishing new people or if the current committee is taking over.
It's the current committee.
Okay.
We do have another item that will be coming forward, but, and we have more spaces to fill.
Okay, roll call vote?
Vice President Stevens.
Yes.
Clerk Colon. Yes. Trustee Donaire.
Yes.
Trustee Mendez.
Yes.
Trustee Rico.
Yes.
Trustee Zulueta.
Yes.
President Flores.
Yes.
Motion passes unanimously.
Item 14.2, approval of the 22-23 unaudited actuals report. Can I get a motion to approve?
Motion.
I'll make the second.
Any discussion? Roll call vote.
Vice President Stevens.
Yes.
Clerk Colon. Yes. Trustee Donaire.
Yes.
Trustee Mendez.
Yes.
Trustee Rico.
Yes.
Trustee Zulueta.
Yes.
President Flores.
Abstain.
Motion passes 6-0 with President Flores abstaining. Thank you.
14.3, approval of the vendor payments issued for the month of June 2023 as presented. Can I get a motion to approve?
I'll make the motion.
Second.
Any discussion? Roll call vote.
Vice President Stevens.
Yes.
Clerk Colon. Yes. Trustee Donaire.
Yes.
Trustee Mendez.
Yes.
Trustee Rico.
Abstain.
Trustee Zulueta.
Yes.
President Flores.
Yes.
Motion passes 6-0 with Trustee Rico abstaining. Thank you.
Moving on to 14.4, adoption of resolution 2315 authorizing approval of agreement incorporating piggyback contract with Khajiit. Can I get a motion?
I'll make the motion to accept.
Second.
Any discussion? Roll call vote.
Vice President Stevens.
Yes.
Clerk Colon. Yes. Trustee Donaire.
Yes.
Trustee Mendez.
Yes.
Trustee Rico.
Yes.
Trustee Zulueta.
Yes.
President Flores.
Abstain.
Motion passes 6-0 with President Flores abstaining. Thank you.
Item 14.5, adoption of resolution 2322 authorizing approval of agreement incorporating piggyback contract with Verizon Wireless for the 22-23 school year. Can I get a motion to approve?
I'll make the motion to approve.
Second.
Any discussion? Roll call vote.
Vice President Stevens.
Yes.
Clerk Colon. Yes. Trustee Donaire.
Yes.
Trustee Mendez.
Yes.
Trustee Rico.
Yes.
Trustee Zulueta.
Yes.
President Flores.
Yes.
Motion passes unanimously.
Item 14.6, adoption of resolution 2323 authorizing approval of agreement incorporating piggyback contract with Verizon Wireless for the 23-24 school year. Can I get a motion to approve?
I'll make the motion to approve.
Second.
Discussion? Roll call vote.
Vice President Stevens.
Yes.
Clerk Colon. Yes. Trustee Donaire.
Yes.
Trustee Mendez.
Yes.
Trustee Rico.
Yes.
Trustee Zulueta.
Yes.
President Flores.
Yes.
Motion passes unanimously.
Item 14.7, an approval of amendment number 2 to the facilities lease of the leaseback contract with Roboland Contracting, Inc. for the Stagg High School Livestock Facility Program Project. Can I get a motion to approve?
I'll make the motion to approve.
Second.
Any discussion? Roll call.
Vice President Stevens.
Yes.
Clerk Colon. Yes. Trustee Donaire.
Yes.
Trustee Mendez.
Yes.
Trustee Rico.
Yes.
Trustee Zulueta.
Yes.
President Flores.
Yes.
Motion passes unanimously.
Item 14.8, approval of the CUP-CCAA agreement for the construction services with Roboland Contracting, Inc. for the Franklin High School fencing upgrade project. Can I get a motion to approve?
Make a motion.
I'll second.
Any discussion? Roll call vote.
Vice President Stevens.
Yes.
Clerk Colon. Yes. Trustee Donaire.
Yes.
Trustee Mendez.
Yes.
Trustee Rico.
Yes.
Trustee Zulueta.
Yes.
President Flores.
Yes.
Motion passes unanimously.
Item 14.9. Approval of amendment number 5 via change order number 004 to the facilities lease of the leaseback contract with S+B James Construction California, Inc. for the Arthur Coleman Jr. Administration Complex renovation project. Can I get a motion to approve?
I'll make the motion to approve.
Can I get a second?
Second.
Any discussion? Roll call vote.
Vice President Stevens.
Yes.
Clerk Colon. Yes. Trustee Donaire.
Abstain.
Trustee Mendez.
Yes.
Trustee Rico.
Abstain.
Trustee Zulueta.
Yes.
President Flores.
Yes.
Motion passes 5-0 with trustee Donaire and trustee Rico abstaining. Thank you.
14.10, approval of updated quotes to purchase 5 trucks for CTE programs that were previously approved by the February 14th, 2023 board meeting. Can I get a motion to approve?
I'll make the motion to approve.
I'll second.
Discussion? Roll call vote.
Vice President Stevens.
Yes.
Clerk Colon,
Yes.
trustee Donaire,
Yes.
trustee Mendez.
Yes.
Trustee Rico,
Yes.
trustee Zulueta,
Yes.
President Flores.
Item 15.1, can I get? Oh, yes.
Motion passes unanimously. Thank you.
Today's the day. 15.1, student expulsions. Can I get a motion to approve?
I'll make the motion to approve.
Second.
Roll call vote.
Vice President Stevens.
Yes.
Clerk Colon,
Yes.
trustee Donaire,
Yes.
trustee Mendez.
Yes.
Trustee Rico,
Abstain.
trustee Zulueta,
Yes.
President Flores.
Abstain.
Motion passes 5-0 with trustee Rico abstaining and President Flores abstaining as well. Thank you.
I would call the meeting to adjourn at 8:14 PM.